And welcome everybody to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I am your co-host Steve Mark. You know he's joined by
Charles here.
This week we don't have any guests, but we do have some unique taste tests. A couple of congratulations, a retro review, and other things to cover. So we'll hit it right out the bat. Right? You want to do the taste test or the congratulations?
Go over your congratulations.
Yes. Now, I kind of mentioned it before, but now it's official. She's in the house. I went and saw the house yesterday. My niece, Tabitha Henson, is now official homeowner.
Yeah.
I can't give her address out. But
She's only an official homeowner when she makes that first mortgage payment.
Nice little house, 3-bedroom. It's got a garage, no basement, but it's in Taylor. But we won't.
About 1,100 square feet or something like that.
Yeah, roughly about the same size as my house, but with a garage. It got a nice big back deck. It comes with.
Okay.
Second deck.
Is it all maintained? The one thing when I hear someone's got a deck on their house,
it's pretty good.
It's a
shape.
lot of work, man.
Yeah, and it looks like it's a wood deck too. It's not the composite.
It's no Trex decking or AZAC.
Well, I'll go over there in 5 years and let you know how that's gonna hold up, because I know she's got to paint and sand.
You got to pressure wash that. A true wood deck is work.
Yeah, it's a nice deck, but I wouldn't want to have to maintain it. I'll tell you that. But it's a I guess like Bergeron. She loves Scott's mom handled all the paperwork when she signed all the bills, and she said it's one of the nicest ladies she ever met.
Oh, so he was legit saying like his family worked for all
so
that.
she handles the paperwork for him
Wow.
at the office. Is what his mom does. That's
kind of cool.
I think she's retired from her real job anyway. So and she.
Wait, how is not doing the paperwork from her real job?
I think she worked for something in Auburn Hills. I forget what it was for years, and I think she officially retired from that. And she just kind of works part time with Scott, doing his paperwork when he needs it. So congratulations to her. And I'll let you guess, what is Tabitha's first purchase besides furniture and stuff?
I was gonna say probably that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is no kitchen table yet. She's working on that, and the washer and dryer comes this week. But what is her first purchase now that she's a new homeowner?
Well, I would guess Taylor has city trash cans, so I'm gonna guess a lawnmower or a television.
They already had a television, and they borrow the lawnmower from her boyfriend's sister all the time when they need to cut the grass. They don't have a huge yard because the deck takes up most of it.
Yeah.
They bought a python snake.
It's very common.
I mean,
that was my third guess. You just took it out of my.
I was gonna buy a cobra when I moved in.
What?
$150. It's a python. I saw it. It's green.
Won't
green
it get like
blood.
massive? Won't like a python, like Jake the Snake Roberts? Kind of shit?
She knows all, but she's researched it all because I was asking questions. I was like, first off, where the hell did you get this?
Where
from?
do you keep something like that?
A fish aquarium.
Like a big ass fish aquarium, right?
Yeah. Well, she's got a smaller one in it right now.
For now.
And then that's when I went over to her house. They had an old fish aquarium at Michelle's parents that they had turtles in originally, and it's a big one. It's about.
So you had to transport.
So Holly and I went and grabbed it, threw it in the truck, and went over to her house.
Jeez, oh Pete.
So
man.
and she's getting a warming mat. I guess you get. The woman really researched her snakes. So you put this mat.
So wait, she's never owned a snake before?
No, because Michelle's mom wouldn't let her have one in the house.
So this was like, I'm out of my own, bitches. Here's my snake.
So
finally.
last year for Christmas, me and Michelle got her a stuffed snake puppet.
Oh, okay.
So sixth sense of humor we have.
I don't know what it is, man. That creeps me out.
Yeah, well, she knows all about it. She's getting a warming mat that goes under the aquarium,
dude,
for the snake.
I have a crazy snake story from years ago.
Okay.
So, like, when I worked at that the Fairfield Inn was one of the 6 hotels back when I worked for Marriott years and years ago.
Yeah.
There was a chick who was like kind of an 80s kind of chick. Anyway, long story short, her and her man had a 2-bedroom apartment. The second bedroom was literally a snake room. She had a snake, Steve, that was like the size of the futon. Like, it was the craziest thing. And, like, so they plasticked this whole bedroom off and, like, let this snake, like, live in this bedroom.
It wasn't a cage?
No, dude, it was, like, in this bedroom. It was so big, Steve, you couldn't put it in anything. It belonged in, like, a zoo. Oh. She showed me pictures. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I'm like...
Well, if Tabitha keeps hers, it's a python. She knew the technical term, but at the end of it said python.
It'll get massive,
it's
right?
Gonna get huge, yeah.
You got to, like, feed it, like, frozen rats and stuff like that.
As it's younger now, she's already told me the feeding schedule.
This is the craziest thing.
You got to feed it twice a week when it's younger. Then when it's like certain stages. So then eventually it becomes once a week.
I tell you this, she's an open invitation to come on here and discuss this with us and justify the purchase of this large animal.
Oh, I get Tabitha on here.
Yeah, I bring her on just to discuss.
She can bring the snake with her. Probably.
Hell no. Keep that thing out of my house. I got the hard rule like Michelle's mom. No. I want that damn thing.
I saw it. I mean, it's only about it's balled up, so it's probably about this long right now. She got it. The Taylor Town where the Clash Wrestling is.
Oh my God!
They had a reptile expo there. She bought it at a reptile expo.
Like, how does a python make its way to Michigan? You know what I mean? Like, who smuggled that from Colombia in their ass cheeks or something?
No, there's a python.
Dude, that is crazy.
My thing, if I'm a python, I'm gonna get like a yellow one or a white one. Let's get something unique. It's just kind of green and black. Looks like a traditional snake.
What does she call the snake?
Doesn't have a name for it yet.
Oh, okay.
But she knew everything. Like I was asking, so. Yeah, so it's got a feeding schedule, and it's not eating mice yet. It eventually goes to mice.
What is it? What does like a baby snake eat?
I don't know.
Like crickets or
you know
something?
what? I didn't ask her that. I think it's bugs of some sort.
Yeah.
So it's like little bugs that are dead.
Oh man.
And then then she said it goes to mice after a year.
Then rats.
And then full size rats,
chickens.
So
and
then
shit.
next to your frozen chicken in the freezer, you're gonna have a bucket of fucking frozen mice. I would buy a little freezer in the snake room just so I keep I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep dead mice
produce.
next to my food. You know.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Holly, don't ever eat a tablet.
You probably could just have like a small chest freezer or something like that.
So what I didn't know, so I was asking too, was like, do these things shit? I mean, you know,
do they?
Yes, they do. When you feed them, they shit like once a week, and they drop a turd. It's a long
so you gotta
turd.
Like, clean
it's not
the
in
cage and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's not. Snakes, as they get older, don't eat as much. They eat a big chunk. It's like how you were eating one giant meal a day.
Yeah.
So you were eating like a snake at one point in your life. So once they eat, it takes a long time for them to digest, and then they'll drop the turd. But
it's probably like the full bones and stuff like that.
No, it's all decomposed and turned into
crazy stomach.
Yeah. And then she's like, she's talking about, well, when it gets sick, I have to have a special vet. And I go, how the hell do you even know when a snake's sick?
Dude, you got to.
So I guess
she's got an open invitation.
When
I've
a
got
snake
questions.
gets sick, their mouth are extra watery.
What does that mean? Like it's extra
like they're
frothy?
drooling almost. Yeah. So that you know your
jeez.
snake is sick if that's the case. She researched a lot. I mean, I was quite shocked.
Sounds like
by
she's
her.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, she
so
was like
good for
Steve
her.
Irwin of the snakes. I was quite
my
impressed.
God, yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to have her on and then
I
bring the
would
snake
love
with
to
her in a
listen.
cage.
Don't bring the goddamn snake to my house. We're gonna record remotely in her house. Keep that shit out of my house. I want that shit in my house. Like, get in the pipes. You crazy?
The other thing is funny. They got 3 neighborhood cats. And they're kind of leaving a little food out for the cats to eat.
Don't do that.
Well, they already got it. They got pictures
You
of
can't
3
do
cats.
that. Yeah.
You got snakes and cats all the time. At this
Yeah,
house.
me and BV lived at that apartment in Romulus back in the day. There was all those stray cats and stuff like that.
Well, they're not stray. They're people's cats around the houses. You can
So
tell
then- but
they're
then-
fat house cats that people are
Yeah,
letting
but then
out.
let those people maintain that cat.
Yeah.
Don't,
Well,
yeah.
she has a soft spot for animals. She always has. So that's
I get it.
That's
I
her
get
thing. So, but congratulations. to her.
Yeah,
Nonetheless,
nonetheless,
got a little
whoa.
sidetrack there. Congratulations on your house. You and David have a great time. I hope you get it paid off quickly, and that's great.
Yeah,
Now, one more
congrats.
congratulations this week. I had to go Wednesday to Annapolis High School.
I saw
stomping
this.
ground.
I saw the fact that Holly had a dress on, and that was
Yes, and she had her
interesting.
hair down for about 5.2 minutes. So there was a ceremony. Now, in 8th grade, when she had Honor Society, there was like 30 kids, and it lasted forever, and we got a free meal and all this stuff. This one was only 7 kids. So I was like, all right.
So we're dwindling down. Is
Yeah. This one had a lot more requirements. Like you had to wait a year before you can get in. Then you had to write an essay over the summer, which half the kids were like, I ain't writing no essay. Miss Holly did it, and obviously her friend Bree did it. So those 7 kids got in, and then you got to do the community service and stuff like that.
Good. We got to go back to Gleaners for her. Then.
Yeah,
We'll take her back.
Yeah, helping old people. I guess this year they're going to go to the zoo and take special needs kids to the zoo and stuff like that. So she'll get a day out of school to go to the zoo with special needs kids.
But nonetheless, her and 6 other classmates were inducted into the Honor Society.
Yes, the Honor Society, and it had the whole ceremony where they light the candles and they call each one.
Oh, there's like a whole thing. Do they hit
Yeah.
them with paddles and stuff like that?
No,
dude?
not quite that.
She Phi Theta Kappa or something like that.
Yeah, and then they got lemonade, cake, and cookies for everybody when it was over, and it was a nice ceremony, about an hour long. Maybe
How
a
many
little
kids
longer.
in Annapolis are in Honor Society? Then? If there's only 7.
Well,
from
there's
her
only
class.
7 sophomores, and I saw for seniors. I don't know who.
So it's a pretty select little group.
Yeah,
huh?
it's not as big as it was, like I said, in junior high.
What does Holly say? Why does Holly want to be a member of National Honor Society?
I think she's
It's a
really,
resume thing?
Yeah, she's really that's why she's playing sports. That's why she's doing student council.
It's a resume.
She's very conscious of what her resume is for college. Which me in the 10th grade, what? I don't know. Yeah, but my
it's a
daughter
different
is
time.
on top of
Where
that.
does she tell you? What's the short list of universities she wants to go to?
Wayne State and Eastern right now.
Wayne State and Eastern.
It may change in a couple of years, I assume. I mean, I told her she doesn't have to stay. You know, you want to go live somewhere, but
Get out if you want.
I know
to.
that's money, and Michelle wants her baby girl by her side at all times. But you know,
She's got to live her life.
Yeah, if the kid wants to live her life, live her life.
Yeah.
But,
well, congratulations. On
well,
that.
why I said the 5 minutes. So the ceremony is about 20 minutes. She's got her hair down. She's looking nice. Her friend Bree was there again. Congratulations to Bree too. Bree's got a long Italian last name, and I always forget it. So, Bree, congratulations. I can't remember your last name.
Piscatelli.
Yes, something along that line. You're pretty close. So, congratulations to both of them. But so the thing was over in like 20 minutes. She literally had a hair tie from her mom,
wow.
pulled her hair up immediately. Even her friends at the school were like, wow, that lasted a long time.
Wow.
She hates having her. Just get your hair cut off or whatever.
So, who's doing better grades wise, her or Bree?
Ooh, it's close.
Yeah.
They help each other a
Toe
lot.
to toe, huh?
They're AP a lot together. I think Holly edges her out a little bit grades wise.
Just slightly. Huh?
Just slightly. I'm
You
not
get
sure.
caught
I don't
slipping,
think
Holly.
I don't think Bree takes as many AP classes as Holly does. I think Holly's got the one that's really behind is Fatima. Unfortunately,
okay.
Fatima's like the Stephen Burt.
Okay.
She's just kind of coasting along, where Holly and Bree are really chugging along. And so congratulations to all those kids and everyone and the other ones that made Honor Society. So today, Charles is going to show us some protein snacks, and we got something from Dan Akroyd.
So you talked about this at the previous podcast, and you
Yes.
finally found it.
People can see it here, and I don't want
Yeah.
to drop it, but
Yeah, don't drop it.
it's a really cool container it comes in.
I think it's a pure piece of marketing. It's probably just
Yeah.
basic vodka on the inside of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
but
this-
it's in a freaking cool container.
Yeah, it looks like a skull. It looks like something Indiana Jones would find somewhere down. This is called Crystal Head Vodka. Now, the reason why we know this, and we always suggest to watch the Joe Rogan podcast.
man.
We're not like, oh my God, just Fat Guy podcast, the only one. We know we're very, very low on the totem pole, but we both Charles and I are big fans of Joe Rogan's podcast, and Dan Akroyd was on there promoting his vodka. Now, he ate an orange with it. He spritzed an orange in it. I don't know why, but I guess citrus goes well with this vodka. We're not hardcore drinkers, so I couldn't tell you. Now, last week we tried the butterscotch
This
whiskey.
is 40 proof, 40% vodka.
This straight smells like paint thinner.
Oh man,
This is a rough
yeah,
thing.
this is 40% alcohol.
Now,
dude.
now here's a little backstory before we drink it. I could not find this at a regular liquor store. Of all the places,
Well, because
Michelle-
people are probably picking it up because of the container.
yeah, and
If I'm going to a party and bringing booze, that's a pretty cool party gift, I'd say.
yeah, it's so Michelle finds it at Myers of all places. Myers had Crystal Head Vodka.
Doesn't smell that harsh, I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you. I like flavored vodkas, like the smearing off whipped creams. And all that.
We're such women.
This is straight up just vodka booze, baby. I don't know.
So, salute to Putin.
Mama, that burns.
It does. It has that like vodka always has like that weird paint thinner feel to me.
It tastes good. The problem with vodka, right? It tastes good initially. It's got a little bit of nice taste, and then the burn kicks in. It's just all downhill from there.
and that like paint flavor.
Yeah.
Whew. It's like you're breathing fire after you drink it. Russians are bad people that can sit here and drink this stuff.
I'll tell you, I by no means am I a connoisseur of vodka. My whole throat's on fire right now, but it tastes pretty smooth. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If that indicates
You
a
could-
quality vodka.
I think Dan Akroyd went into a whole thing about it's under
Triple distilled
through
or
charcoals and rocks and I don't know
Yeah.
what. So he's probably all bullshit.
You paid $47.
Yeah, that little skull that we showed is $47. So you can take
Is that a
cup there.
750 milliliter? Is that a fifth?
I don't know.
Yeah,
what
it's
that
a
is.
fifth. It's $750.
Yeah, so $50 for a fifth of vodka from Dan Akroyd.
I think you're paying a lot of marketing. To be honest
Yeah.
with you.
but it's not bad. I mean, it's better than like the cheap stuff I've had when I was younger, the pop offs or
Yeah.
whatever.
So when you typically drink vodka, do you mix it with like cranberry juice or something like that?
Yeah, that's what Bert used to do.
Yeah, vodka and cranberry I've always heard is a
Yeah.
big
Did
thing.
I ever tell you that story? He drank vodka and cranberry all night long, went home, passed out, and then puked in his sleep, and he thought he was bleeding when he woke up in the morning. He thought he was bleeding. He's like, oh! Checking for
That's pretty
cuts.
funny, dude.
Yeah, he did that a long time ago.
We've talked about it, like, and again, I would say that tastes pretty smooth. I don't know.
Yeah, mixed it in a mixed drink or something, probably go pretty easy.
I mean, you put something that's 40% alcohol, it's going to have a burn to it, but you could probably easily mix that into something. I've only had, like I said, the flavored Smirnoffs, and we've drank a lot of Sky vodka. That's the blue bottle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I've had a lot of that,
No.
but a lot of it's only in mixed drinks. This is the only time I've straight up.
Like I said, when Abby could drink, vodka was her liquor of choice.
I think the taste initially is pretty good. It's just an alcohol burn at the end,
Yeah.
is what I would say. So I don't know.
A
Like,
little overpriced, I would say, but I mean, it was pretty good vodka, I would say.
I think that we've had two decently, like, thinking back to the Aviation Gin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a gin person at all, but that tasted pretty good to me.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
And like I said, the biggest mark to me that we've had was the Margaritaville tequila. I hate tequila with a passion. I just find it disgusting. But that Margaritaville one was really quite tasty, actually. I didn't even think that was going to happen.
Yeah, didn't we also have George Clooney's tequila, too?
Yeah, the Casamigos one was more like traditional tequila. I wasn't a fan of that. Somehow, the Margaritaville one was my favorite one. It was probably the cheapest one we had.
Let's all be honest, though. The peanut butter whiskey is probably the best one because we're the most chickish. And the moonshine.
And the moonshines. I like the flavored moonshines.
yeah,
Yeah,
those are pretty good, too.
If you're not drinking it for flavor, why are you drinking it? I guess if you're getting messed up or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So on a lighter note, I was at Kroger today, and they had a whole end cap of these PeaTos. So
PeaTos.
these are somehow, they look like Funyuns, I'm gathering, that are made, they're high protein, plant-based chips. And that's their big marketing gimmick. So I would assume these are going to have like a Taki vibe to them. This particular flavor of PeaTos is called Fiery Onion.
It's
So
just funny how they're named.
again, they're all
Now, does it say what plant it's made from? Is
well,
it just
according
soy?
to the instruction or the ingredients here: pea flour, lentil flour, fava bean protein,
Fava
and
beans.
pea fiber. So
What the hell is a pea fiber?
I don't know, but we'll
like
give them
as a
shot.
green pea?
They got a little whiff to them. They're really small. Look, they don't look like a traditional Funyun.
They do kind of smell like a Funyun.
Yeah. They've got the vibe of a Funyun, but they got that red, fiery, Taki whiff to them. Or like, we got a little heat. Tastes like a blander Funyun to me.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Funyuns. So.
You don't like Funyuns?
No.
Funyuns are good. They tear your mouth up, though. Like, like the roof of your mouth and stuff like that.
Like after a week eating Captain Crunch?
Captain Crunch as an adult is the worst
I know.
cereal.
It's good that first day, but 2 or 3
Oh.
days in, your mouth just feels like you ate
Dude,
sandpaper.
what is going on? My face and my whole mouth is just torn out.
Yeah, something's bleeding on the inside of your mouth. I'm not a huge fan. You can keep those. It's like a spicy Funyun. If you like
Yeah.
Funyun, if you are a Funyun fan, PeaTos are for you, I think.
I'll totally finish this bag, though. It tastes pretty good.
Imagine what your breath is going to smell like. You know what? So I went to that volleyball tournament this weekend, and I'm sitting in a crowd. You know what smells so bad when you're not eating them and someone else is? This woman opened this bag of sour cream and cheddar Ruffles, and they just have a whiff to them.
Those are tasty.
When you're not
Wow.
like she said, I didn't see her pull the bag out. All of a sudden, that whiff hit me. I was like, I
You
thought it
wanna
was my
eat?
feet. I was like, are my feet stinking? Am my feet sweating? It's her eating the Ruffles over to the. They're delicious. Don't get me wrong. I like Ruffles, but man, the smell of them when you're not. And I imagine the smell of those. Like if you walked in and just kissed Heather right now, she'd probably vomit.
First of all, she vomits normally. When I get this,
Oh, okay.
let alone with the PeaTos. I like the PeaTos. I give a big thumbs up. I think it tastes pretty good. They definitely got a little kick to them, though. They got that Taki, that weird, like, hot saucy kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, like I said, if you're into Funyuns, I'm really not, which is ironic because I love onions, but I'm not a
Yeah.
huge onion ring guy either.
Funyuns are delicious. OG Funyuns, awesome. I haven't had the Flaming Hot ones, but I would assume they're pretty similar to those.
Yeah.
But neat that they pack in a little protein to them. So if you're trying to make gains,
all the protein. Everyone's eating protein. Then there's going to be a study out in 10 years. Protein's terrible for you. It's going to kill you. We'll all quit eating protein. The next whatever marketing thing comes along. So there you go. Some Dan Akroyd vodka, which I'm going to save my coins in as soon as I drink all that vodka.
Fancy bottle. Fancy bottle.
I really like the bottle. The vodka's pretty good.
It does look like something that Indiana Jones found.
Yeah, I mean, as far as alcohol goes, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think I could drink a lot of that if I was really wanting to tie one on.
I don't think if I was tying one on, I'd go for vodka. I'm still a rum guy. I still stand by that as far as taste.
Oh, I'd probably drink that peanut butter whiskey mixed
You
into
would take
something.
that peanut butter whiskey mixed with a little fireball.
Yeah. So I change my tampon and drink that peanut butter
I don't
whiskey.
give a shit. I'm not drinking for toughness at this point. But the packaging is a 10 out of 10 for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an
It
amazing.
had a box, too. I took it out of the box.
Oh,
so,
it did?
yeah.
It come with like a fancier box?
No, actually, the box was just lame. It was kind of gray with windows so you could see the skull.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
But I didn't want to sit there and have to open the box while we're on
top notch packaging. Like you said, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'm sure if you mixed it into things like any other vodka, it tastes great.
And then the PeaTos, very Funyun-y. If you love Funyuns, go with the PeaTos. How much did a bag of PeaTos
Like
cost?
$2 or something.
$2,
like that.
yeah.
Nothing
Wasn't quite
crazy.
$47.
They were in the produce section, which was weird.
Oh, there you go. So now we're going to go on to some reviews. Now, last week we didn't get to do the reviews because we had our wrestling roundup.
We blew out the regular format.
So this week, of course, the big one on Netflix came out. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie.
Yes.
Essentially, this is an epilogue.
What day did it release? Do you
Friday.
know? It released on Friday.
Yeah, it came out Friday.
'Cause I watched it Saturday. What day did you check it out?
Friday.
Okay.
Were
Were you waiting on it? Were you anticipating it?
No, usually Friday night, me and Michelle and I watch a movie or a TV show. So we watch the Goldbergs.
Oh, it's date night at the
Yeah.
Steve's house.
Well, and Holly's there too. So we watch the Goldbergs and Superstore, and then Holly dips. She's like, "I'm done." And then Michelle and I.
Superstore was hilarious this past week, by the way.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Garrett just can't turn it off with that chick. It's super funny to me. I'm sorry.
I put fish in your locker because I'm a bully. That's funny.
Super funny.
Yeah.
And then when he's in the markets, he has no doors on his escort. It's like, that show's still funny.
Yeah. I'm glad they got away from the immigrant stuff.
Yeah, they really made him come off like a dick, too.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't dwell on that the whole season. But that's not a review we're talking about.
Yeah.
So right after the show.
Well, this was back to the anticipation of it. So this was one of the movies that I was anticipating coming out, and then the other one that I was anticipating, and I'm not sure it is out yet, is The Irishman.
Oh yeah, that's not coming out till almost Christmas.
Is it that late?
The next one I want to see is Dolomite with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, is that a Netflix deal?
Yeah,
okay, so I'll watch that for
that
sure.
one I think comes first, and then The Irishman's after.
Okay,
The
so those are
Irishman's late. I looked that one up.
deals.
I think they're trying to hit December, so it's fresh in the Oscar mind.
Okay.
I think is what the Irishman's going to do.
And then the other release that they just had is the new season of Peaky Blinders finally premiered 2 weeks ago, so that's back on there. Again, a great show that I recommend to everyone. You should watch that show. It's another one of the best Netflix shows out there.
So Breaking Bad, El Camino, it picks up exactly where the last episode left off.
Written by Vince Gilliam, the guy
Directed
who wrote
by him,
Yeah,
yep.
so
So-
it's all. This is proper canon. This isn't someone's take on what happened with Jesse.
It's
This
not
is-
fan fiction. This is,
Yes.
and there's a lot of cameos, a lot of
Starts with a cameo.
Yeah, it starts with a cameo. Everyone from the previous show pretty much shows up that's still alive.
Yeah.
Even one that isn't.
I
By
was
the way,
shocked they didn't show Walter White's family at all.
yeah, but spoilers, by the way, if anyone's watching this,
Yeah,
gonna
we're
talk
about to blow it all
Oh,
up.
yeah, we're
so.
about to blow it up. Now, it's a 2-hour movie.
A solid 2 hours.
Solid
too.
2 hour. I enjoyed the movie, but it did feel, I forget, and this is a little bit of a wrap on Breaking Bad. I forget how slow sometimes Breaking Bad can be. And that movie, only 2 hours, felt like 3. I'm sorry, it did.
The nice part about the show is, and this is kind of my rub with this movie, in a show setting, you can take your time with it. In a movie, you got to kind of get to what you're trying to tell me about.
Yeah.
And like you said, Breaking Bad was really good about like developing and kind of like bringing you along and then showing you them kind of fumble a little bit, which
Yeah.
they did in this. But this being only a 2 hour long movie, I wanted content is basically what it sounds like both you and I did. And that's
Yeah.
what kind of,
And I felt there's too many flashbacks.
they were checking a lot of boxes.
Now, the biggest gripe on the internet is Todd is fat.
Okay. Oh, boy from Friday Night Lights? Yeah.
Yeah. When the show aired, he wasn't fat.
Okay.
I know.
Really,
I'm just saying. Everyone's like, you could have lost like 23 pounds before they filmed
you're going
it.
to break the guy's balls.
That's what there are a lot of people online are criticizing that. Fat Todd. That's all I keep saying.
I really didn't register that. I watched the show. The show is one of the most brilliant pieces of television that's ever aired.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I came to it late, but amazing. And like you said, it's so slow. It's checking so many. I mean, they're showing you everyone. But old boy in the freaking vacuum store is phenomenal. The guy who just passed away. I don't know the name.
Unfortunately, we don't know his name, but he did just
pass away like yesterday or something like that.
Been around for years.
He was so good when he showed the bag of cash, called 911, and then he's like trying to call his bluff, and then cops showed up.
Yeah.
Super funny stuff. And that's what made Breaking Bad, I think, so good.
There was some subtle comedy in
Yeah.
And like even with the flashback with Walter White, which I felt like that flashback didn't need to happen, but okay.
Yeah.
When he's like,
they had to put Bryan Cranston.
When you get your GED, and he's like, I got my diploma. You're out of state.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
And he's like, well, I'm just making conversation.
Yeah. I thought that whole, like the Mike flashback and the Walter White flashback were put in there just to make fans happy because I don't think you needed either one of those. Yeah. And then the one at the end with the girl from Jessica Jones, I forget.
There was a lot of character service in this.
Yeah. So, and I understand it's for the fans. That's why they did it and stuff like that. But they could have cut back on some of the flashbacks, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like I said, I already touched on it a little bit when we talked about it. I thought it was kind of remiss to not have anything with Walter White's family. I thought that was kind of...
But it would have been hard to tie his family into Jesse's.
Because they were separated.
Yeah, the only thing you could have is maybe the cops show up.
I can't. I don't know how you do it. I'm not pretending to know that. But that was one of the things that they could have touched on is like, what does his family do now? Or something like that. Yeah. But maybe that's another movie to come years from now. I don't know.
And my other problem is, like I was telling you before the podcast, my least favorite characters on the show were Jesse and Walter White's wife. Yeah. So, and here it is, a movie about Jesse. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was good. I mean, it's good filmed. It's well acted. Todd is fat.
I didn't even pick up on that.
The internet just roasted him on that one.
God.
Fat Todd ruined everything.
But they spent like 20 minutes of him looking for the cash in the apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of like times where
and
I'm
that's
like,
that Breaking Bad thing where it's slow.
Yeah.
And
I thought that the stuff with the nosy neighbors was really entertaining and that kind of stuff.
Now, did you recognize the welding guy?
He's the guy from Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Michelle didn't recognize him. That's the Gemstone guy as soon as I saw him. So he's making a little bit of a career now and popping up in things.
I think that as a fan of the show, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
Is what it boils down to. And I would think any fan of the show has already watched it. Or you know what I mean?
It's going to be a big hit for Netflix, but they don't release the numbers, so who the hell knows if it is. I don't know.
It's got to be. I mean, people were just ravenous for anything with that show.
So there you go, Breaking Bad. We get ripped.
You give it a fucking 6. I'm turning your mic off.
I was going to say 7. I was going to give it a 7 out of 10. I just felt a little slow and one too many flashbacks kind of knock it down a little bit too much. I do like his boy Skinny Pete or whatever his name is.
That stuff was all really entertaining.
Yeah, that was
when
pretty
he's
good.
About the Fieros.
It almost makes you wish there was a series on those two.
Yeah, like those two chuckleheads.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. But you can see so no Saul Goodman. He wasn't in it, though. No appearance of him. But pretty much everybody else that was still alive.
And he had interactions with Jesse as well.
Yeah. And so, Charles, what are your thoughts?
I give it closer to 5 because it felt like a long episode to me. And it just goes to show, because, like, quite frankly, just make more of the show. You know what I mean? Like, okay, continue on with Walter White's, you know what I mean? Like, just give me more of the show. What's Aaron Paul doing, really? I mean,
and spoilers, there is a newscast that announces that Walter White is dead.
Yeah, they can. Well, even the Vince Gilligan guy got out in front of it and said that he's dead. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah, so there's no way to keep a series going with Walter White unless you did a prequel, but then he wouldn't be.
He would just be a teacher.
He'd just be a teacher, and nobody would care. So this should end it. They're probably, and then they'll wrap up Better Call Saul. And
I think that they need. The only thing is, the only piece of the puzzle I'm missing is, like I said, what happens on the Walter side. That's still with his family and all that kind of stuff, and like the brother-in-law and all that kind of.
There is one question too, like what was in that letter that Jesse handed the guy?
Yeah, that was.
It was to that boy, that Brock kid, that was his girlfriend's kid.
Okay,
you saw it said Brock
when he was holding it down,
but that's all you could see. You don't know what the letter was about or anything like that. like that.
Yeah.
So there's some things still up in the air, but not much. I mean, the guy who wrote and directed the show really did wrap up a lot of loose ends and stuff. Even before this movie, a lot of it got wrapped up. So they did a good job, unlike The Sopranos, who just went fade to black.
Yeah.
So there you go. Breaking Bad, Netflix. If you're a Breaking Bad fan, I know you've probably already watched it anyway, so we're not really spoiling anything for you. Everyone's dying for that stuff. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We're going a little bit into video games, some reviews. Now, this fall, with the exception of a handful there's not a lot of good game releases. I mean,
Well, I mean, on the 27th or whatever, the Call of Duty comes out, right?
yeah, but it's more Call of Duty. Charles is dying. I mean, John's gonna be all about it, but I'm
It looks like they're trying to reset it a little bit.
yeah, they are, and they're bringing a campaign back. But I'll rent that, run through the campaign, and then take it back. I probably won't buy that.
Looks pretty as hell.
So I was looking for some games, and I'm not a fan of Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
They're so rinse and repeaty.
The thing about Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I really like, it's all in Greece. And it's the closest you'll ever get to a Clash of the Titans video game.
Okay.
So you got like Minotaurs that are showing up. They're going a little more science fiction.
Also, they're not bound to reality.
Yeah. Well, the story kind of tells you why it's happening, but they go a little more over the realistic stuff. So there's a Minotaur in it. There's a Cyclops in it.
My whole question is: there
Medusa
is there varied things to do?
Yeah, but there are. Well, now there's a ship, so you can do ship fighting.
I don't know. That was always my struggle with the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time you played one.
Yeah, they just
there are a lot, but even with all the different things you can do, it's still they're huge games. I mean, you get your money's worth when you drop.
Yeah,
that
but
$60.
again, 60% of it's doing the same thing.
Yeah, that is the problem.
So it's a vast thing to do, but it's like how much of it is the same stuff I already did?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I was looking for something to do. I got on eBay. You ever get on eBay at night? You're like, let's see some games. A guy was selling the season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now it's $40 regular price.
Okay.
Sold it to me for $20.
Well,
So
how do you do that?
I don't know.
So
Don't
it just
care.
sends you a digital code? Or?
Yeah. So I paid him $20. He sent me a digital code. I put it in. Boom. Started up. I was like, oh, nice. So now I will say this. It's
Someone
called.
stole something from GameStop.
Yeah, someone. So the Fate of Atlantis is the name of the DLC, and then there's another one, Legacy of the First Blade. Legacy of the First Blade is kind of a story how this guy's slowly becoming an assassin in the blade, the traditional blade. In the game, you don't have it that much regular. So it's a long story. These DLCs are long. This is
a lot of content.
A lot of content. So even if you paid $40, I mean, it's probably equal content to a full $60 game.
Wow, okay.
Like
that's a good value.
Yeah, I was surprised. It took me 30 hours to get through the first DLC.
Wow.
This one, it's Fate of
You went
Atlantis.
from eBay to putting 30 hours into
Yeah,
this.
it's crazy. So every day I'm playing 4 or 5 hours at night.
Wow, that's dedicated.
Yeah, but the Fate of Atlantis, it starts off, you're in like Greek heaven. It's called Aslim or something.
Okay.
So it's like a whole map there. And after you beat all that and you beat the main god that's running that, you get sent to the underworld. And then it's a whole map there. It looks kind of like Mordor, the underworld does.
Okay.
And Hades is the leader. So you defeat Hades. You defeat that.
I'm getting a God of War vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. You defeat that. Then you go to another map, whole big map again.
Wow.
And this one is Atlantis itself, where Poseidon, the king Poseidon, runs it. You actually don't fight Poseidon, you fight someone else, but spoilers or whatever. But I gotta say,
Great value.
Great value, especially for $20. $40, even for 40, I think. Yeah,
If you're into the Assassin's Creed game, it's basically just kicking you a whole other, like a sequel, essentially.
it's really what it was, because they're not releasing an Assassin's Creed game this fall, but you can play that DLC, and it's just as long as it.
Might as well be a game if you're kicking 30 hours. Now, is that 30 hours into one of these two DLCs?
Yeah, that's just one DLC.
Jeez.
The Fate of Atlantis took me 30 hours to beat.
Wow.
And now I'm into the Legacy of the First Blade, about 10 hours into that, and I'm probably only a third of the way.
Yeah, so you can get some serious content for it.
Yeah, and now, when it comes to DLC, I don't buy it a lot. I buy it for the fighting games because I have to have all the
Well, you did it
fighters.
correct, too, is to get it on the cheap if you can.
Yeah.
That's always the move.
And I do it for video game, comic like Spider-Man, Batman, Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
I'll buy the DLC for those because I'm so into comics and I'm a loser. But those are the only two I usually buy DLC for. I rarely buy it for other ones, but this Assassin's Creed, well worth the money if you are a fan of the show. So then that leads me into the DLC of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator in Mortal Kombat 11. A lot of fun. I gotta let you see it. You'll probably like it. Only thing sucks.
This is from the current Genesis movie or whatever. What's the name of the new one?
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate.
So he's got a gray beard.
Yeah, so it's the current
Yeah,
iteration.
he's not-
It's a product tie-in.
Yeah, and I imagine if they keep going with it, you'll get skins for the like T2,
The old school ones. Yeah.
So, but they did a good job. The graphics look great. The only thing kind of sucks, it's not his voice. It's a voice
okay.
act, but it's pretty close, and he talks very like in quick sentences, so it's not like you really can't tell. But that's the only downer of it all. And as you get beat up, like your skin falls off. You see the exoskeleton.
Cool effect. Yeah.
And he's got a cool fatality where he shoots you with a shotgun. He gets his motorcycle, runs you over. You go flying through the air. He steps off the motorcycle while it's running, pops you again. Your chest explodes. That's one of his fatalities.
That's quite a fatality.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's got props and everything. He calls in.
Even Michelle took time out to play a little bit as Terminator. So people bitch.
What'd you pay for it?
Well, I bought the season pass, which I think was $30.
Oh, okay.
And that includes it's like 8
characters,
whatever they release. So any character comes out with the next year, I get them automatic. I've already got Shang-Chi's son. Night Wolf was the other one, and then this month was Terminator. Spawn's coming down the road, and Joker's coming too. But Joker's kind of lame because he was already out for Injustice 2, so it's like
all they're doing is bring that model over.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's a new model.
It's already the same engine. And everything.
They tweaked his look a little, but it's gonna probably play the same as the other Joker. And I know they did that because of the movie. But fighting game DLC, I know. I miss the old days where you could just unlock it in game. I know that doesn't happen.
It doesn't
anymore.
exist anymore.
And
they monetize them.
People throw a fit. Like I told you, they don't like the guest characters, but you need those so people like Michelle or you or someone who likes
be intrigued by it.
Yeah, like oh, Spawn's in this. Oh, Terminator's in this. Let me check this out.
Do they bitch because it throws the balance of the game off?
No,
what is their
they
complaint?
bitch because
it's not into the universe.
Yeah, it's not in the universe. Matt Stryker or someone from Mortal Kombat 2 from 30 years ago could be in it. And so he gets bumped, so you're going to have Terminator. What the hell, you know? Like last year, or the last one had Predator in it. I thought Predator was cool.
Yeah.
And then they brought the horror movie guys, like the Texas Chainsaw. I liked all that. I like when they do that. But
you're not a Mortal Kombat
I'm not hardcore
purist.
enough.
Yeah.
So there we go. So a little review of DLC, which I don't do very often.
So you paid $60 for the game.
Yeah.
And $30 for the season pass.
I still had a discount at that point, so I only paid like 40 something for the game.
Okay, but nonetheless, full retail with some cheese and 30. So you're all in $80 plus equipment with your fight sticks that you've already had.
Yeah, that's every fighting game almost. Yeah. Every big fighting. I take that back. Like Marvel vs. Capcoms, I'll do that. I'll do that for Street Fighters, and I'll do that for someone getting beat up out there. Yeah. And I'll do that for any kind of Mortal Kombat or DC Injustice.
Just because you want that character bundle.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah. Now, the lesser fighting games like Soul Calibur or Dead or Alive, I don't do that. But the big ones, yeah, I'm going to buy the extra.
You don't get like the extra jiggly pack and the
No, I don't bother with that one. So there you go, a little look at the DLC I actually buy. Now, Charles, I saw this on Netflix. Why don't you tell us about this one? I was a fan of this guy when he was on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, he's hilarious. So Dion Cole got an hour-long special called Cold Hearted, and it's on Netflix, as all me and Steve talk about is Netflix and movies, basically. And he plays, like you said, you know him from Conan a lot. You also know him from Blackish. He plays Charlie on Blackish, which is something I used to.
He's the highlight of the show for me on that show.
I love
talks about cocaine is
it's super hilarious. Yeah. And his stand-up does not disappoint. He gets a little lecture in the middle about loving yourself and all that kind of stuff. But if you've watched any of his stand-up before in the past, he does this funny bit where like he pulls out like a notepad. And he's like, I got some jokes. I just wanted to write these down and see if they... and then he starts reading them all. Hilarious. His delivery is so funny because he's got that same kind of character from Blackish reading these like jokes that he just continues to like... And they're off-the-wall jokes that he just wrote down. And they're like, okay, that one worked. Check it off and stuff like that. Super funny, dude. He talks about banging big girls and having... It's super funny. The neat part I caught at the very end, Kenya Burris, who runs or who does Blackish, actually produced his Netflix special. Okay. So there's some definite ties for his Blackish people getting him out in front of people. But yeah, it's a hilarious stand-up, man. I from beginning to end was just cracking up. I find him super hilarious, and like I said, his stand-up didn't disappoint. So if you get a chance,
yeah, I was gonna watch it, but
check it out. I'd like to hear what you think because it was really funny when he was like, I wrote some jokes down.
Yeah, I heard the one something about
Arby's.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
Yeah, and he goes, no. It's super funny the way he does it. I just blew your mind. He's super funny, and like I said, he's a continuation of that quirkiness that he has in Blackish. He brings to that stand-up. So that Blackish character that they give him is definitely based on him and his stand-up. It's really funny.
Yeah, he really shines. He's good on Conan O'Brien too. So the guy's funny. He eventually will get his own sitcom eventually.
He needs one because he's worth it, man.
Yeah,
he really is. Instead of giving all these lame spin-offs off Blackish, give Dion Cole one.
Yeah, and let him just be the writer and do what he wants.
Yeah.
So now this next one we're a week behind because of the wrestling podcast, but I saw it last week. The #1 movie in America, The Joker.
It's getting rave reviews still.
Not much I could say that people probably
making
have
a
already
mint
heard.
too.
Joaquin. I screw his name up constantly. Joaquin Phoenix definitely should be in the running for an award. I don't know if they're going to give it to him or not.
But I got to be honest with you. Let me pause here for a moment.
Yes.
Okay. How many times are we going to nominate the person who plays this schizophrenic superhero villain character?
Well,
at what point is it
it's
not?
only been twice.
But I'm just saying, like, at what point is it not? You know what I mean?
And the first time, a lot of people consider he was only nominated because he died.
That was one of the most amazing performances.
Yeah,
I mean, are you going to argue the Heath Ledger Joker? Is anyone going to? I don't know.
No, I'm not going to. But
so if you had your choice between a Heath Ledger Joker and a Joaquin Phoenix Joker, who do you take?
If Heath Ledger's still alive?
I'm saying if you were going to make a movie tomorrow and you were going to put these two characters in, which one do you like the best? Which one was the most amazing performance?
A little hard to say because I know Joaquin Phoenix would not do a sequel and Heath Ledger probably would, so I would go with Heath Ledger's.
Okay, we're not talking about their individual. I'm talking about from what you saw on the screen.
Well, then Heath Ledger's because it was more comic booky.
It was super good and super creepy. I
wouldn't be upset with either one.
I refuse to believe that like this new Joaquin one is going to be that big of a departure from that Heath Ledger one.
Well, here's the thing, and you won't run into this because you're not a huge comic book fan. If you're a comic book fan and you like what the comics did with Joker, or if you even like Jack Nicholson's Joker, or even maybe Heath Ledger's a little bit, you're not going to like this one because this isn't really. He's in
more
Gotham.
Of the schizophrenia kind of thing, like a guy off his rocker kind of thing.
Yeah, and he coincidentally kind of runs into, like he becomes the face of society on accident. He doesn't try to be. He's just being a nutty dude trying to get through life. And so in Gotham at this point in their history, there's kind of like a society riot going on. So the lower class people are pissed off at the Thomas Waynes, and the upper class people. And in the spoilers, and then Joaquin Phoenix is just in
Joaquin
is
a
Phoenix
drawing tablet.
Yeah. The drawing tablet is living with his mom, right? And he's just a crazy dude.
He's a downtrodden guy who's got mental health issues.
And he's got a lot of medications and stuff like that, and he's living with his mom. So and you're following him through most of it. And his laughter is like an uncontrollable Tourette's kind of thing.
Okay.
And so he does that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain point in the movie, all the funding gets cut for most of the mental health in the city. So he no longer has medication. He no longer has anything. And his mom is writing these letters to Thomas Wayne the whole time and kind of claiming that because she used to work for Thomas Wayne, that his father is Thomas Wayne. So you're thinking, oh, man, the Joker is Batman, the brother or whatever. Yeah. Comes to find out his mom's just batshit crazy as he is.
Okay. Apple didn't fall too far.
Yeah. Well, and then come to find out he's also adopted. So he's not – actually, that's not even his mom. So this kind of sends him over the edge because now he doesn't have any medication like that. But he's sitting in a train in a subway, and one of his friends give him a gun because you've seen the commercials where those kids kind of steal his sign. Well, they kind of jump and beat the shit out of him. Okay. So one of his
protect yourself.
One of his other clown buddies handed him a gun. Like, here, man, you need to keep this because he's not allowed to have one because he's mentally ill. So in the subway, he busts out one of those laughter fits again, and these three like drunken Wall Street douches are in the subway
picking at him,
start beating his ass. So in self defense, he kills the three of them. that leads to the big headlines, and they're rich Walmart dudes or Wall Street dudes,
I get
Walmart,
you, I get you.
and that's what starts the riots. So everyone starts wearing clown masks because all they know.
So he spurs on this whole like downtrodden mental health issue.
Accidentally. He's not doing it intentionally.
Okay.
And then of course Robert De Niro is like a David Letterman. He's got a popular show in Gotham, and at one point, the Joker Arthur Fleck tries stand up. And he's absolutely terrible at it. So, of course, the late night show gets a copy of the video, and they're playing it and spoofing on him and ripping on him. So they invite him to be on the show. But at this point, he's gone full batshit crazy. That's where he's looking like Joker.
Yeah.
And then you can guess what happens when he comes on the show. He starts murdering motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So but that's kind of how it ends, and that's it. And they get in a car accident when the cops.
It sounds intriguing. It sounds
it's a
like
very good movie, but
it sounds deeper onion, than like a lot more layers to it than you realize.
Yeah. There's a lot of takes on social, social
like
injustice
mental health,
and mental health, and there's a lot of that stuff in it, and it's a good movie. It is a really good movie. But if you're going in to see
an
comic
Avengers
book
sequel,
or even a comic book based Joker, you're not seeing that. That's not what's happening here. So
it sounds like you're pretty positive on it.
I liked it. I enjoy it. Unlike Bert, I can turn off the comic book part of me and just enjoy the
it as a
movie.
movie.
I know Bert's going to hate this as soon as he sees it.
Oh, okay.
And it's not nearly as violent as they make it out to be.
Okay.
So he kills the three guys, but again, it's kind of in self-defense.
It's a gray area kind of thing.
He murders his mother. He does do that. And he kind of, like the girl down the hall, it kind of leave it up like he might have murdered, but you don't know for sure because they just show him in the room. And then he murders Robert De Niro at the very end. And that's it. That's all. It's not like he's
It's not that graphic.
And it's all with
crazy.
that same cheesy gun.
Yeah.
So it's not. It reminds me a lot of. You remember the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
A lot like that. But in the end, instead of just
It's just a guy who breaks. Is what you're saying.
essentially. But he was never sane to begin with. But Michael Douglas' character was sane.
Yeah.
That's what the movie reminds me a lot of. And it's supposed to be some. There's some other movie I don't know that Robert De Niro was in. I forget the name of it. The King of Comedy or something. I guess it's supposed to be a lot. I've never seen that movie. Maybe that'd be a retro review. We'll see that.
Great.
I don't know about that. They take a break in those.
Well, but how do you think Todd Phillips did, like of Hangover fame as the director?
If you told me Todd Phillips directed that, I'd have never guessed that.
Oh,
if you show me the movie, and don't tell me the director. I'm guessing
Todd Phillips never would have guessed that.
Yeah, I'm guessing some other big name actor or director, Scorsese or something.
It was that like played so serious and so like delicate.
The year was 1981, so it was like they had the old cars and everything. It was a period piece. I would have never guessed Todd Phillips.
Okay.
He did a great job. The main
Sounds
actor
like you're
did a
way
great-
into it.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. Now here's the weird thing, though. It's a really good movie, but I don't think it's a movie you need to run to the theater and see. Like I like watching involved dramas more at home than I do at the theater. Does that make sense? I don't know why.
I mean, you don't need the grandiose spectacle of like a big screen.
Like,
is what you're saying?
I want to see a really big, funny comedy or a big action.
You
or
can
sci-fi.
turn the volume just to the right volume and kind of
Usually
get
when
into
I want to watch a drama it's serious, I want to be at home so I can pay attention a little better. I don't know. That's just me though. But it's a good movie. It's making millions and millions of dollars.
number 1 2 weeks in a row.
And they say they don't want to make a sequel, but it's a lot of cash to pass up. So I don't know if they're going to pass it up or not. But like I said, if
you think it needs a sequel?
I would like to take his Joker and move him into the Batman world. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see
You want to cross the two paths? And see what's going on.
So because Bruce Wayne's in it, he's about 12. He's probably in his 30s in this movie. So you're looking at. So when you jump,
you
time
could fast forward to when
so you
he's
got a 30-year-old
30,
Batman, you got a
I get
45 or 50-year-old Joker, which would be him. Be interesting to see. I mean, why not? Better than bringing Jared Leto back. Even though I don't think he was as bad as people made it out to be either. But it's fine. I liked it. It's entertaining. If you're a diehard comic fan and you want a comic accurate Joker, then this ain't for you. But if you want something dark and gritty and watch a dude's descent into madness, check it out. Yeah, Holly saw it. She loved the last half hour is when he turns the most jokery. He does a lot. Up to the first hour and a half is more like watching Sandra Kago walk around.
Yeah.
So
we understand mental health.
Yeah.
Saying,
So I mean, if you can handle that stuff, you can handle the Joker. So now let's go with.
But hold on, what'd you give it out of 10?
8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'd probably give it
Not
an
a 6 from Steve. That's
No,
an 8,
that's a good
people.
one. That's a good one. No, I don't always give 6s, but that one's an 8. Definitely. So let's go with the Game Changers. What is that?
So The Game Changers is a 2-hour-long documentary that is executive produced by James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jackie Chan, of all people. Ooh. It's about these pro athletes who are on vegan or plant-based diets. And I was super intrigued by it because when we think of vegans, and I know you do too, like you think of like these like scrawny hippie people.
Yeah.
You don't realize that like there's a world's strongest man guy who's a vegan. There's like Olympic athletes. The main guy that they follow is this guy named James Wilkes, who I know of from UFC times. Mm-hmm. He got hurt, and basically he goes down this whole rabbit hole during his recovery. So he's trying to use his diet basically to aid in his ability to get back into his sport. So what I thought was neat about this documentary was it's showing you that you can not only go plant-based, but you can also do it and not be a 90-pound, like, scrawny individual. Like, you can still find alternate means of proteins and all this kind of stuff. One of the trippiest things, and they do a good job, where I come to a lot of, like, the like, beef industry and all that kind of stuff is more of, like, the environmental impact of it. They touch on that a little bit, but not that deep. Where they touch on it a lot more was, at one point, they take 3 college baseball players, right? They feed them a regular burrito with some meat in it and with some pork in it, and then with a plant diet in the middle, right? And they take the blood out of their arm after they eat it, and they basically, like, you ever see where blood gets separated and the red blood cells go to the bottom, plasma's at the top? Yeah. Dude, the vegan guys is like, looks like clear where you can see through it. The 2 dudes that just ate that, foggy as could be. So then, fast forward to the next day, they give them all 3 plant-based burritos to eat. They do the same thing again. All 3 of them, you can see through the platelets of it. It was the most terrifying thing for me I've ever seen. Like, you could essentially see, like, the fat in the bloodstream of these 3 college athletes. It was super terrifying. It was one of those things I was like, oh my God, I gotta stop eating like red meat and everything like immediately. Like, because, you know, we talked about on this podcast before, I'm super influenced by documentaries. I just am, and you are too, where it's like, I gotta stop everything. Like,
so you're telling me Arnold doesn't eat meat?
So Arnold talks about it. So they have a big interview of Arnold in this, and he talks about how in the 70s when he was a bodybuilder, like he ate like 250 grams of protein a day, like eating red meat and all this kind of stuff. He has a very reasonable way of looking at it. He's like, look, man, I'm not going to not eat meat, but if you can cut meat out of your diet a third of the time, you know what I mean? Like, that goes a long way towards your health and towards your environmental impact. And that's always kind of been, so like for me, I'm just trying to do like little steps. If I can do a meal here and there where I don't, because I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm addicted to cheese. Like, there's just, I'm not going to.
Now, why can't you just be vegetarian? Why does it got to be vegan?
Well, so they explain that. And again, in this documentary, they show you it's the plant. There's a lot of evidence that shows that we never were supposed to consume these things from animals and all this kind of stuff, meaning dairy and all this kind of stuff, because of the fats that are contained within that. And they do a much better job than I can to explain this stuff to you. I would compel you guys to watch this Game Changers documentary. I think they do a great job of kind of touching on why you should do plant-based, why you should avoid like chicken and all this kind of stuff, just any kind of meat protein, because all they do is eat the vegetable protein and we just eat them. So why are we eating them? Just eat the vegetable protein is kind of the whole argument about the whole thing. Fascinating documentary. Production of it's really top-notch. And again, they go through and they kind of show you different types of athletes. So like there's a handful like MMA people, World's Strongest Men people, you know, an Olympic triathlon person. All this is not just like the basic hippie thing, I guess is what I was that was a big takeaway for me, was that like, you know, I always thought that you had to be like 90 pounds and carrying grocery bags and stuff like that. So this documentary is fantastic. You talk about like out of 10, I give this thing like a 9 just to enjoy and really consume that. And I thought they did a practical job. At one point, they take these 3 athletes to a urologist, do the same thing with meat diet, plant diet, and they check how many boners you have throughout the night. And then, like, the dudes have, like, way more boners throughout the night when they eat a plant diet. You know what I mean? Like,
man, I gotta get my boners back.
dude, I'm telling you, and it was a fascinating thing. You can't rent it yet. It's only available digitally and all that kind of stuff. So
Where'd you watch it now?
I watched it through my Apple TV and the iTunes store. Is how I could catch it. Yeah, huh?
How much did that cost?
It was $4. The usual. So
Game changer.
yeah, it was a really fascinating thing. And like I said, Arnold's in it and all that kind of stuff. And again, he's kind of like me, comes to it from more of an environmental impact than everything.
Do you have Sirius currently right now in your
No,
radio?
I don't. No.
Well, Howard is in L.A. for this week or whatever.
Okay.
And he interviewed Arnold, one of the ones. I don't know, because every time I get in the radio, it's the damn Demi Moore interview. But I guess he asked him at one time what he thinks about death and everything. He said, that just pisses me off.
He wants to fight death?
Yes.
I love it.
Because he goes, this life is so good, so fun. Why do I want it to end? I don't want it to be 6 feet under rotting. No, screw death. It just pisses me off.
I love Arnold so much.
He's so insane.
Dude, he's like, live your life, man. Don't live it for
Crush
the
things with tanks and laugh.
I love it, man.
He's
He's a hero of mine. I just can't. But, anyway, Game Changers, big fan. And listen to Howard in L.A., too.
Yeah. I always bitch about this with wigs. No matter what time of day you get in, you always catch the same segment on Howard.
It's frustrating.
And the Demi Moore interview is terrible.
And she's kind of coming back out because she's in a bad movie with Ed Helms.
And she wrote a book, too.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I just don't care. I don't care about her relationship with Ashton Kutcher.
I don't either.
Nothing.
And
I
it
don't
was like
care.
an hour of that. And, and then he recapped her whole career, and I realized I don't like barely any of the movies.
I would be all in on Arnold interview.
Yeah, I missed
sure.
her. I listened to Robert
I got to
Downey.
look around online.
Robert Downey Jr. was funny. And Demi Moore is terrible, but Arnold's also
because Howard proposed to his wife again on Jimmy Kimmel. I saw that.
Who cares about that? And Jimmy Kimmel was obviously on the show too. Now, before I go into Xbox, let me talk about one last movie. This one I snuck in. It's also going to be on Rapid Fire. This week I saw Jexi.
We talked about this, the Adam Devine Siri comedy,
and it had a great trailer. A lot of funny scenes.
It's got Michael Pena.
Michael Pena plays his boss at a wacky.
It looked hilarious. You turned me on to the Red Band trailer. It looked funny as all
hell.
The
trailers are great. Problem is, that's all the funny parts.
Oh,
I mean, there's more with that phone. Like, that phone shits on him quite a bit. And that's pretty good. And, like, you saw in the trailer where his dick pic got sent out there.
Yeah.
They showed the dick pic. Like, and he's giving a thumbs up.
Oh, is it like a Righteous Gemstones thing where they got a dick quota?
Yeah, you can't really see his face. So you don't know if it's really his dick, but it sends it out. And then Michael Pena's like, why are you giving a thumbs up and a dick pic, bro? So there's some parts. And my problem was I thought it was going to be like a hangover, just funny. It's
just rapid fire. As soon as he meets the chick in the laundromat or whatever it is.
It's a romantic comedy is what it is. So it was a really raunchy, funny comedy that
fell off the rails pretty quick.
Ends up being just your by-the-numbers romantic comedy.
So, and again, we're going to talk about, would this be a rental? Is that basically?
Yeah, I would catch it. It's not a rental or a cable. Yeah. It's not. Unfortunately, I was hoping for more. It does have a nice commentary on us as a society of how much we're all stuck on our phone. Like, everyone's getting a coffee, not one person's looking up.
Yeah.
He's hooked on his phone, too. And it does.
Well, because even the chick he was like dating her was like ripping on him about leave his phone home.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole thing in that, too. She worked for Amazon for a long time, and she was all about Instagram and everything. So what she ends up doing is quitting her job and opening a bike shop.
A bike shop.
And then goes and pretty much just quits online stuff. She still has a cell phone, but no Facebook and stuff, and hooked like he is. So there's some stuff there, but I was
really funny.
I was really hoping
he's
for
been he's been going up my list of funny dudes to me. That Adam Devine is pretty good, man. He's the one that had that good Netflix special that was really funny. I thought was a good thing. He's hilarious as the young preacher on Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, and
the stuff he did on Working's really funny.
He's not bad in this. He just Now, the surprise is Wanda Sykes. She's very funny. Okay. Like, you see in the trailer that part about the being a crackhead, there's a lot more to that. Like, she trashes him for about 5 minutes. Okay. So that she's
got a weird thing about her now where, like, she basically just plays, like, the old matriarch thing of everything and just kind of rips and rags on people because, again, that's her Blackish character.
And then there's also the political stuff, too. Sometimes she gets into that. That's what ruined her special is like, oh, here we go, political jokes. But Jexi, I give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
I really was. I had high hopes, and theater nobody was in it. It was like 4 of us. It was like me, Michelle, and one other couple.
okay.
There was nobody there. So I think the movie.
You joke, but I was really going to hit you up about going to see it because it looks really funny.
Unfortunately, that trailer got everything. And I understand you got to get people there to see it, but they could have cut some of the funny scene. There is another funny scene where he plays kickball, and he's the most unathletic kid you ever seen. So that was kind of funny. Now, right after that, I wanted to, this past week, to go with the Assassin's Creed DLC. I tried the streaming.
We talked about this. So this is your Xbox on your home network, and you're basically going to push what the Xbox would display on a TV over that network to a Surface tablet.
Yes.
We can't do it to any other form. It has to be a Microsoft Surface tablet.
It could be anything in Windows 10, and it's an app you download from Windows 10. So
what's the name of
you
this?
You could do it on
Is
your
it
PC.
Smart Glass or something like that?
No, it's not Smart Glass. I don't know the name of it.
So within your home network, you use your Xbox to basically be the hardware.
Yeah, and in your Xbox, there's a setting. If you go under Settings under the Home, I think it's called System Preferences Broadcasting, and you gotta check the box that lets you allow streaming.
Okay.
I think it's checked by default, but because mine was, and I've never touched it before.
But you happen to have, so you were in the Microsoft ecosystem. You have the Surface tablet as well as this. Now you're using an AT&T provided router,
which is
correct?
50 megs or whatever.
But this is your internet, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about in your home network, your Wi-Fi you hook these devices to are both that router, right?
Yeah. There's nothing. I don't have no
switches or nothing.
Switches or anything. It's all just one thing coming from my central room, which was provided by the cable. I don't have anything else souped up. People think I should, but I don't. And I tried it out. It connects pretty good. The only thing that's kind of weird is the controller you're using on your Xbox. You have to use that with the. I had a controller connected to her Surface.
Okay.
But it might have.
So hold on. You paired a controller to the Surface.
Yeah. So now an Xbox One controller, the new ones, are Bluetooth. So it doesn't have to be a Surface. It could be a Lenovo. It can be anything. You gotta
be able to digitally connect it to whatever device you're displaying it at. Or So hold on. So and I'm just trying to understand because it can be complex to set this up. So if I had my Xbox One in my office and I had a Surface out in the living room like you're talking about here, I have a controller that's paired to the Xbox One in the office. I have a controller that's paired to the Surface in the living room.
Yeah.
2 controllers?
You can, but I found out I didn't have to. I just used the controller that was connected to the Xbox. That makes sense?
It linked over, or did it still link to the Xbox?
I think it still links to the Xbox, but I'm not sure where it linked.
You're not sure. Okay.
I probably could have went in and turned off the Xbox controller and then just used the one connected to the Surface, but I already had that controller running, so I said screw it.
And it was picking you up, and you were good.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So so you launch the app inside the Surface or any Windows 10 laptop you want, and then you just connect. It'll find the Xbox on your network.
Okay.
And then it connects, and poof, the screen comes right up. You see Assassin's
So you're
Creed.
seeing. So it's not. And again, we're in the office. You don't have to go launch streaming on the Xbox. You're sitting at the Surface.
Yeah. The only thing in the Xbox you got to do is make sure that one option's checked.
And then, so once I'm sitting at the Surface, I'm literally controlling the Xbox.
Yeah.
I get like the dashboard and everything.
Yeah, so I took the Surface out of the game room, went out into my kitchen, sat at the kitchen table with it, with the controller that's still connected to my Xbox, sat it down, and started playing Assassin's Creed for about 30 minutes.
And
it worked fine. There was a couple hiccups. You know, it was
like a buffering.
You'd be running and then start running again, or you're fighting.
Only a couple.
It happened about once every 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now,
what did it make it unplayable?
No, it didn't make it unplayable.
Wow.
It did not make it unplayable. Now, Assassin's Creed is a AAA game with a lot of graphics, a lot of things going on. So it's not like I imagine a smaller game like a Tetris or a downloadable game will go even smoother. You know,
I would also question your networking hardware. So I wonder if you had a better router,
well, that could have been possible,
and a stouter connection between the two, what you could see there too.
Yeah.
So like my PC just hypothetically, my PC is hardwired to my network. My Xbox is hardwired to the network. What would you see there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what would you
Mine
see?
was all over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Neither one of mine are hardwired.
Okay.
So Wi-Fi. I played for about a half hour. It played pretty good. Like I said, controller was responsive.
What does the Xbox in the room do?
It's
Did
playing.
it blank out or did it?
No.
So it's mirrored. So you're seeing A and B.
So Holly could sit in the game room and watch me play from the living room.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still.
But in theory, could you have done something else on the TV that the Xbox was connected to?
You could switch the input. And
That's
go
what I'm saying.
You could
Like,
watch something else. And you just got to leave that Xbox on.
But me and you had the conversation earlier in the week. I'm a young kid who happens to have a Windows PC in the house. Yeah. My dad wants the TV with the Xbox on it. I could just, you know what I mean?
You could turn the Xbox on and go play the PC.
That's pretty awesome.
Or play your laptop.
Yeah.
It worked pretty good. I will say now, if you remember correctly, 3 years ago, I tried the PlayStation Now, the free trial. That was dog shit. That was terrible.
The PlayStation Now is doing what?
That was streaming from them into your, at the time, was it a PS3? It was a PS4. It was streaming into my network, into my PS4, and I was playing games. Kind of like Google's trying to do now.
Yeah, it's like a Stadia equivalent.
With
different kind of tech, right?
Yeah, it was well, obviously it was older at the time. With that, and this was before, now currently they have the option to download the game and play it.
Okay.
Then they didn't. So you were just streaming.
It's pure streaming.
And the bigger games like The Last of Us and stuff like that would not work for crap. Now, I also downloaded, you remember Dragon's Lair? That worked good. It was slower, but it still had a lot of hiccups. And that at the time, my PlayStation 4 was hardwired into my router, and it was doing that. Now, from what I understand, the past 3 years they've improved it quite a bit. I haven't tried it since then because I kind of got turned off. I was like, oh, this sucks. Yeah. And they didn't have the download option 3 years ago, which they do now. So yeah, and they charge ridiculous amounts for play it. They just recently lowered the price. So from my little network. The Xbox One streaming worked pretty decent. So if Google or even Xbox with their xCloud can come close to that.
But that's over your network. That's local network. That's not being served up to you. You got apples and oranges.
I know, but
I'm trying to think about
my first toes dipping into the streaming.
What I'm thinking about applications of is you could just have a networked Xbox One. So in other words, I don't have my Xbox One hooked up. It sits by my modem or my router.
With the power on all the time.
Yeah, and then like I just have a device that...
You'd have to turn the sleep mode off.
I'm sure there's some settings you have to tweak, but nonetheless, it's cool tech. I got to be honest with you.
So the first dip toes, it wasn't bad. It wasn't
because we got coming around the corner, Stadia fires up and all that. Now that's streamed. That's from the cloud over the internet to your Xbox. Now, what if you go Project X Cloud, right? You stream over the network to your Xbox and then stream it to a Surface. Does everything just catch on fire immediately?
Yeah, it's like, stop streaming! And then you podcast and do everything on top of that,
it just chugs. It just stops.
That is the thing. If you ever do any of the streaming, make sure we're not podcasting.
Dude.
Everything comes to the screen. So a little look at some streaming stuff.
Super
cool, that's not the full-blown Stadia, and that's not the full-blown xCloud.
That's within your home ecosystem.
Just you. Currently, right now, anyone can do it. You don't have to sign up for anything. Charles could do it. John, anyone at your houses. All you need is a laptop or some kind of PC that runs Windows 10. Yeah. You have that.
What's the name of the app to download?
I wish I would have wrote that down. But if you type in Xbox One X app, there's like 4 of them that come up. I know it's in the store. You got to go to the Windows store. And then it might be a beta. I think it says beta on it. So if you type in Xbox beta or something along that lines, it comes up. And I followed a tutorial online to show me how to do it, but it's not that hard to figure out.
Is it Console Companion I have here?
I don't know. I know when you click it, there's going to be an area on the left side. Yeah, hit the left, the menu on the far left, go up. And is there a connection? See the connection? So right there.
Oh, so it's just that companion app.
Yeah, and that'll connect right to your Xbox One if you're streaming from it.
Cool. Neat stuff, man.
Remember, you could test it out yourself.
Yeah, just curious to see.
So there goes some streaming. So we're going to go from there to the retro review of Banging My Head on a Wall called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Now, we've been to the 70s. We've been to the 80s. We've been
To the 40s.
The 40s and the 30s. So we got 50s and 60s still missing.
We're looking at you.
But we watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This stars Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro.
Yes.
Wow. Charles.
This is the worst movie I've seen in a long time.
Terrible.
So we often rank these retro reviews in like best to worst. And again, I think Purple Rain is up there with my best into Gone with the Wind. This is, I don't do LSD. I don't do heroin. No one can like this movie. So what was funny was when I looked at, and again, I bought this on Apple iTunes again because I didn't want to leave the house because I'm lazy. They recommended Big Lebowski with someone like this. The Big Lebowski had a point.
Yeah,
like, this is just the worst movie ever. It's like, so Heather was telling me as she was watching part of it with me before she bailed on me. She's like, this is terrible. That this kind of started quirky Johnny Depp. And I could see that where he must have had way more fun filming it than I am watching it.
Yeah.
Who is finding
I was
this?
thinking about that myself. I couldn't remember when the first Pirates came out. Or when... See, I don't know if that's true, because when did Edward Scissorhands come out?
Before 1998.
Yeah, so I think that's his first attempt into the quirk. And same thing with Ed Wood. If you remember, Ed Wood was a quirk.
Dude,
I think both of those came out before this one.
So bad. You got to be high or something like that. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any of this stuff.
Johnny Depp did a drug movie that was 18 times better than this called Blow.
Blow's fantastic.
That's a great
with
movie.
Penelope Cruz. That's a fantastic.
But don't get me wrong,
movie.
this one's not great. This one is I paid $1 at Family Video for this. I want 99 cents back.
Dude.
This was terrible.
Because it's just like one big acid trip that's supposed to be like quirky, but it wasn't even fun to watch.
It wasn't even really funny. It was, I don't know what it was.
Dude.
I barely recognized Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, he was tubby.
He was tubby. He looked white through most with a big stash and
They call him
fuzzy hair.
Samoan somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Tons of people in it.
And
Tobey
Benicio-
Maguire, Cameron Diaz, Gary
Benicio del
Busey.
Toro always had a random knife for some reason. Not sure why.
And then he would come and go. And
Yeah.
so I was reading up on it. And again, it's an adaptation of Hunter S. Thompson's novel.
I know he
apparently.
died in 2005 when I was looking into
I know that he should have died before 1998 when this thing came out.
if Hunter S. Thompson was doing the drugs that allegedly these guys did in this movie,
mescaline and all that. I don't even know
he
what
should have
this
been dead
is.
way before
Yeah.
2005.
He had a suitcase of it, and dude, it was so bad. I'm sure it meant something to someone, but God,
There's
almighty.
probably some
It
hidden-
also was filmed poorly. It looked like a student film
Yeah.
a lot of ways
Yeah.
too.
And I know there's probably some kind of hidden message or something in this movie. I'm very literal when I come to watching stuff. I mean, unless you beat me over the head with a message like with Jexi at the phones or Joker with the mental illness, I'm just not going to catch it. And I don't know what I don't know. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny that they were so doped up and then they ended up at a hotel with with the cops having a convention. Other than that,
But then the one cop is screaming at the clerk, who ends up being old boy too. There's the one guy, from like a little
been in like
SVU,
5,000 things. Yeah,
Chris Maloney, I
but
think
he's
is
playing
his
like a
name.
gay bellhop or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was playing.
Dude, I don't know, man. This is awful.
I give this movie a 2 out of 10.
I'm impressed you gave it 2.
Only because I thought Johnny Depp was kind of funny in certain parts, and Benicio del Toro was a little funny in certain parts.
The funniest thing was
And
when
I
he
thought they had
sent
a
the
good-
note to the chick.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part to me. And then what did
I thought
it say?
they had a good chemistry together. Something about
You're really,
Backdoor.
yeah, some backdoor beauty or something
Yeah, he
like
said
that.
it was the name of his horse.
Yeah, I thought that was the only time I kind of chuckled.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And then he was like, "How much for the lemon meringue pie?" And I'm like, "Okay." What?
The 35 cents, that was the cheapest lemon meringue pie ever.
Dude,
Even
I
by
don't know.
1998 standards, 35 cents for pie was pretty cheap.
Dude. But this was supposed to be in the 70s, so I'm so confused. I don't know how anyone is calling this a cult classic. This is terrible.
Oh, it's a bad movie. I don't get it. Unless Hunter S. Thompson has some
Weird cult following.
yeah, and some big, like, almost like Stephen King, but instead of like how Stephen King is for horror, this guy is for drugs,
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know, man.
It was terrible. I didn't
Even
like
as
it.
like a Vegas homage thing, it didn't work. It's just everything about it. And he's always got that stupid cigarette holder thing in his mouth. This was just bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't get it. like I said, there might be some hidden messages in there.
I'm going
somewhere.
to give it a 1 out of 10.
Well,
'cause-
yeah, I say the chemistry between the two seemed like they got along pretty good, and they had a good chemistry. And I thought the two were kind of funny in a little couple scenes, and maybe all the cameos was kind of. So I give it a 2. So
Oh my
not
God.
much better than yours.
So then-
I don't ever want to see it
Dude,
again.
never in a million
I don't even want
years.
to talk about it again.
Dude, and like I said, I can't even be like super. It just was bad. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do next
Oh,
week? Do you got
man.
another gem for us to watch? You can pick
don't
next
know.
week.
Well, we need one from the 50s and one from the 60s, then we can be done, right? So I don't know what kind of big movies from the 50s, right?
Well, stay tuned. We'll figure
We'll
out
search
something.
something out over the weekend, over the week. But man, this one was rough.
Dude, this whole segment's getting real rough. like we
man.
talked about.
I told Michelle, I was like, I'm beginning to realize why I didn't watch a lot of these ones because they're all dog shit. Maybe I had good taste back then. We're just like, no,
you
you know
just
what?
didn't know
No,
it.
I'm good. Yeah, so there we go. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Woo, that's a rough one. All right, so 3 minutes of wrestling. Not going to talk too much about this because we had a big 2-hour show last week. You can check out
All the premieres. we
Dave. What
talked
is
about.
Dave's last name? I always forget.
Havenstein.
Dave Havenstein was here. We had Bill Vicious. We really talked. Bill had a stalking story about Ali. So if you want to know what some wrestling, but there's some funny things that did happen after we went off the air last week. Hell in a Cell match was that main event: Seth Rollins versus The Fiend. That Dave likes the segments.
Shame on him.
So Hell in a Cell, you know the concept. You're in a cell. There's no disqualification. It's just you two go at it till one of you wins, right? One of you pins the other one. Somehow it ended in a disqualification. The crowd was chanting refund at the end of it, and they were chanting AEW.
Wow.
So they were not happy with the ending of this pay-per-view.
Because this was the Rushchev guy or something? No, this was
The Fiend and Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. Oh,
And
yeah.
The Fiend is the guy who they've been building up for 6 months.
The guy with the bad...
We're
like,
in the minority. Dave, most people like that family fun. I don't know why they do. So they fully expected The Fiend to go out there and win. And he lost. Well, he didn't lose. They kind of the refs. The refs stopped it because Seth Rollins was beating on him too much, and like Seth Rollins was doing everything to him, move it, and the guy he kept doing like an Undertaker deal. He kept getting up, I guess. And also the ring was red, and they wrestled in a red light too. So it was like really weird and terrible. And the crowd was just pissed and not having it. And so I thought that was a funny follow up to all the stuff because even Dave sat here saying, "Oh yeah, the Fiend needs to win this." And the fuck guy lost. Or didn't really lose, but didn't win the title either. So I thought that was funny. Now the other thing that it's coming up
is the Gypsy.
Yeah, Tyson. So I thought they were going to save this for WrestleMania or a big pay per view. No, they're shipping Cain Vasquez, or how you say his name, and the Gypsy King over to Saudi Arabia
for the crown jewel.
Yeah, which happens this month. I thought they would wait a while and use one of their big pay per views. No, apparently they're going to do this now.
The prince must be spending a lot of coin.
Yeah, so
it
Tyson's,
sounds like the crown jewel is shaping up to be a legit pay-per-view anymore.
Yeah, well, they pack a lot of them in there because it's a big paycheck for the WWE. Wow. But the Gypsy King is going to wrestle. I guess wrestle. They didn't say what kind of match it is, so I'm assuming it's a wrestling match.
Do Saudis like gypsies? I just am curious.
I don't know. I don't know because this guy's a huge even though I don't even know who the guy was till he showed up at SmackDown. So he's going to wrestle Braun Strowman, and I guess Velasquez is going to wrestle Strowman or Lesnar.
Yeah,
is it going to be a fake UFC fight? They haven't got the details. I imagine tomorrow night they'll probably flesh out some of the details. But I thought that was funny that the big celebrity are getting pumped out to Saudi Arabia immediately. Now, and news on the stock, it has dropped since the SmackDown.
Oh,
I thought it was going to go up. It's now down to $66. At one point, you were in the 90s.
Wow.
So I'm getting a little nervous. It's 50. I'm selling all of it.
Oh, wow.
Because this is,
I wonder when they're going to start calling for like people's jobs. Like
I don't know, but it's not going up. It's going down.
Wow.
So, all right. So, there's a little look at wrestling again. Last week, podcast, 2 hours of it. If you want some more wrestling. And AEW was so good, I forgot to watch it this week on Wednesday. So, there you go. Ask BV, though. He saw it.
What did he say? It was a short review of it.
He said a lot of wrestling, not wrestling, but a lot of tag team wrestling this week. And they're really pushing the faction thing, like those 5 guys, and now who are going up against the elite. Kenny Omega, who you said should be the face of it, did not wrestle again this week. So here the guy you want to be the face hasn't wrestled the first 2 episodes. He came down for something, and I think him and Moxley got into it again or some shit, but I don't know all the details. Bill will have to fill us in. because I know you're dying for that AEW update. So let's go on to football. Now, of course, the Thursday night game, since it's in between the podcast, was kind of a stinker, but I thought the Giants put up a fight for a couple quarters, and then it was over.
I don't know. It's Thursday Night Football. I don't watch it. But I
At
saw
all?
the highlights. Yeah.
It was 14-14 for a while.
Yeah, and then they had like weird touchdowns where like the punter kicked it into his own guy and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then, but New England, of course, doing what New England does, pulled away 35-14. It was uneventful. The Giants got everybody on their team hurt. I mean, they've got nobody to play. I mean, so it was kind of, I thought it was 17-point favorites was New England, and they covered. So I was quite shocked by that. So Thursday night wasn't great. So
You put in here Cleveland rebound, and that's not the case.
Yeah,
man.
so we'll talk a little bit about
At
Sunday's
what
games.
point is the league going to get Baker Mayfield's not the answer? He's still throwing a bunch of turnovers. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, at some
They
point,
still got to keep running, man. They got to keep running. What are they doing?
I don't know, man.
They were close. They took the lead against Seattle late, and
They
then Seattle
lost.
came down and
Yep.
scored, and then 8 o'clock, and it was over.
Yeah.
So Cleveland loses again. What are they, 2-3, 2-4?
Something like the 2-3.
Yeah.
No, 2-4. Yeah.
I guess the big game of the day was Houston versus Kansas City.
That's the game I watched.
That was nationally
Houston
aired.
took it. Yeah.
Yeah, Houston pulled it out. They had a chance to either go for a field goal or run the clock out, and they ran the clock out.
Yeah.
They got a first down, ran the clock out.
Mahomes
So
threw his first pick of the season.
I kind of enjoy. I mean, I like Kansas City. Don't get me wrong, but they need to come down a few pegs, right? I need to
wow.
quit hearing about Rocket Arm.
Oh,
They weren't talking
okay.
about Rocket Arm. They were talking about his sore ankle most of the
Yeah.
game. I don't know if you heard most of that.
Yeah, I watched the whole game. It was
Yeah.
good. I was flipping between that and then we got the Philly Minnesota game. What's going on in Philadelphia?
Yeah,
Philadelphia's got issues, man.
they're good because they can beat a Green Bay, but
Isn't
then they
everyone
lose.
hurt in Philly too? And they got
Yeah, they got a lot of
injuries?
injuries too.
Yeah.
They've had them since the beginning of the year. So
Yeah, Minnesota put it on them pretty good. So,
yeah, Minnesota looks like they're correcting the ship a little bit. Kirk Cousins is actually acting like a normal one. So, all the other thing I wanted to preview, this is big in the Detroit area tomorrow night,
Yeah,
right?
big Monday night game. Well, my
Detroit-
squad plays Sunday night too.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry. Let's go to that one first.
yeah, we got Pittsburgh, Los Angeles tonight.
Man. God, I hope Pittsburgh wins. I hate
Devlin
Philip Rivers.
Hodges is starting at quarterback for Pittsburgh.
Who did the
tonight.
Chargers just lose to last week? They lost to someone
remember.
they lost to someone they're not supposed to lose to.
Okay.
So, is it in Pittsburgh or is it
I'm
in?
not sure where it is.
Oh, we're real good.
Well, it doesn't matter because I was just like, well, I'm only watching Pittsburgh with one eye because it's just like, dude, they can't. Between Rudolph didn't know what planet he was on last week, and Devlin Hodges starting this week. I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do?
At one point, Atlanta was losing to Arizona. I think they lost that game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did too.
Okay, it's time to let that coach go. They're a mess.
But anyway, big NFC North matchup on Monday.
This
what
is for
you-
first place. Green Bay versus Detroit. I think it's in Detroit, right?
No,
Oh,
because
it's in
we
Green Bay.
have no. It's got to be in Green Bay.
Ooh, it's not gonna vote well.
I want the home team in that, so I want Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't think Detroit does much better in a dome. It's not really inclement yet in Green Bay, but I'm saying like I just don't like Detroit on the road.
I like 24-14 Green Bay on this one.
I like a little bit higher, probably like 31-11 or something stupid.
It's a weird.
Yeah, some
Get a
weird like
safety on some
screw
dumb
up
thing,
something
yeah.
dumb.
So both of us in agreement that Green Bay is probably going to win this one and probably easy. Detroit's not the greatest on the road, but they did beat Philadelphia on the road.
And
so.
they only lost in a squeaker to KC, so
Yeah, and then KC turned around and lost 2 straight. So
Yeah.
maybe KC. So now we're gonna go to. We did pros first because college did have a few or one
big
major
week
upset.
big
there
week
was
for college.
there were some things
There
that
were some
showed
good
up.
games this week.
Yeah, so unlike that one week that was just terrible.
There was nothing.
So we'll start off with the what do they call this? The Red River
It's a
rivalry.
Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
Say that 4 times
Yeah.
fast.
Oklahoma, number 6 versus number 11 Texas. I'm not fully sold on Texas yet, but 34-27.
They like the Ellinger guy who's the quarterback from Texas. They're talking
Yeah.
him up all the time.
But Oklahoma pulls it out 34-27. Any thoughts on that game?
It was a noon kickoff, so I only saw a little bit of it. I was still at work, so I didn't see much of it.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts put it on him. It was relatively close, but it was never really in question. I think Oklahoma kind of led the whole game, and it was
They
kind
made
of
it
just
look
cruised.
closer at the end.
Yeah. And you'll notice that trend with another game coming up.
Well, I want to say it was close at the half, though. I could be wrong, but
Alabama thumps Texas A&M.
Two best teams in the country are Clemson. Clemson destroyed Florida State. Bama destroys Texas A&M. Can we stop talking about Ohio State? I'm just exhausted.
They didn't play this weekend, did they?
No, they were idle.
They were idle, yes. 47-28, Alabama thumps them. Them boys, not so good. So there you go. They've got a rough schedule, Texas A&M.
Jeez,
they really do. After watching all the people that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like one tough game after another.
I'm telling you.
For the Texas A&M, they're a little rough. They're probably going to be out of the top 25.
I got to talk to that AD. Be like, dude, you're killing me with the schedule.
Can you throw some Citadels out there?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
Now, Notre Dame USC was much closer than anticipated.
Yeah, it's that rivalry game. You can never.
Yeah, USC came. They were trying to fight. It ended up 30-27. USC scored a late touchdown to make it 27-30. It was, it started 3-0 USC. The Notre Dame scored, and it was 14-3 Notre Dame, and it went back and forth for a little bit. But I don't think USC ever got the lead back again after that.
How did Ian Book look and stuff like that?
He was running a lot.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, he had to run a lot.
Design runs or escaping?
No, they were run for my life. I'm about to get killed. And the Notre Dame ran the ball pretty solidly. It was a tighter game than anticipated. So
it's that rivalry thing. I said you just can't.
Yeah, and the kicker kicked some pretty long field goals too for Notre Dame. So 30-27 is a close game. I don't know if it'll. It won't affect.
Are they idle this week?
Yes,
and then they go into U of M. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And Michigan's not on here, but they won 42-25.
Illinois.
Yeah. They gave up a lot of points to Illinois late to make it look better than it was. Now, the other Big Ten big one was Penn State, number 10, versus Iowa, number 12.
Is that
or number 17?
Penn State's still undefeated?
Yes,
correct?
they have not lost yet.
So who's all undefeated in the Big Ten? Minnesota, Penn State, Wisconsin, Ohio State?
Yes.
Jesus. Wow.
Minnesota's not going to last.
I agree. I don't think any of that is. I don't think Ohio State's going to remain undefeated because I think Wisconsin's going to thump them on the 26th of October.
Is it in Wisconsin?
It's in Columbus.
No.
The problem is they run. Running travels. I always have that opinion. Yeah.
I've seen Wisconsin on the road sometimes. They always shit the bed.
I'm hoping for them Badgers.
Well, did they play Penn State? Ohio State play Penn State?
They might. I don't know. I just know that I was talking shit with a guy at work, talking about on the 26th, Wisconsin's going to go into Columbus and beat the Buckeyes. So then the whole universe can shut up about the Buckeyes.
So 17-12, Penn State beats Iowa. It was a grimy, low Big Ten type of game.
That's an Iowa game.
Yeah. So Penn State stays undefeated. I'm surprised they're not higher than Notre Dame. Really,
probably haven't played much though.
Yeah,
maybe with this win they jump them.
Yeah. Now the big upset of the day, and this hurts Notre Dame a little bit.
Yep.
South Carolina defeats Georgia, number 3 in the country. At two overtimes, 20-17. Georgia.
I was watching
down.
This game at the end. It was pretty chaotic. The Georgia. I guess here's my frustration. Here's my early rant. Everyone loves this about college football, but this is what I get annoyed with because the problem is going to be Georgia's going to lose early, and then by the time the end of the season happens, South Carolina will be ranked like 22nd or something, so then it won't be that bad of a loss, but then they still won't make the playoffs or something like that, and then people are going to be up at arms, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's always... People like this chaos, but like to me, I would be okay with this chaos if you were eventually going to answer all the questions. The problem is that with college football, they don't answer all the questions, and then you're just left with like this argument all the time. And they're going to do that again. And then this early loss, because then Ohio State's going to go with number 3. So you're going to have Bama, you're going to have Clemson, Bama, Ohio State. And then what, LSU 4? Who's 4?
It's probably going to be LSU.
Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever.
Or Oklahoma. One of the two.
Whatever.
I'm not like Notre Dame lost the 1 to Georgia. And
They're done.
Yeah, I don't believe they should be in the. And now that Georgia lost, I don't think they should be in it. If there's 4 undefeated teams, those 4 undefeated teams.
Yeah, but to what end? When you get like a Memphis who's still undefeated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
College football still leaves too many arguments, and that's what drives me up a wall.
Yeah, but it'd be good for ratings. And then the other big game was an SEC game. LSU defeats Florida. Florida was more game in this than I thought they would be.
So glad I called for LSU's demise this year.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Well, yeah, well, I thought Syracuse was going to be good too. 42-28, LSU handled, but it was in LSU. Florida did put up a big fight. It was 28-28 late in the game, so LSU scored a couple late ones to pull away. So LSU, what they're going to go undefeated all year and they get thumped by Bama like they always do. Is that what's going to happen? Is that essentially what we're headed for in the SEC? Eventually, they're going to run into Bama and lose, right? That's what I hope not. I'd like to see LSU beat them, but
then okay, so then you lose late. To lose late's always worse than to lose early.
Yeah.
It's
except for Bama. Bama loses. Okay, they still get in. So there you go. A little look at some college. Notre Dame's off next week. I don't know what other big games. I think Michigan Penn State's next week. So that'd be an interesting one to watch. So we're going to do some rapid fire. We're going to hit you with a couple things real quick. So let's start it off with the movies. Now, Jexi was on here, but I went and saw it, so I guess that answers everything.
For that, yeah.
So Addams Family, a big kids movie, comes out this week. Weird-looking animation on it. I don't know what they did there.
I went with a certain look.
Yeah, I know everything has to have its own art style, but I'm not interested. I'm a no.
Lauren is going to go see it as a class trip. So,
so you're out, right?
Yeah. So
I am a huge animation guy, but something about this one just looks off that I don't like. So that's really it outside of Jexi this week. Joker's going to be number one again this week, which I'm surprised it beat the Addams Family out.
Yeah.
Actually, Nick Kroll from The League and stuff is a producer on the Addams Family, and he plays the voice of It, so he's making some money off of that one.
Nick Kroll.
Yeah. On Blu-ray this week is Toy Story 4. I've realized I'm not going to buy or rent any more Disney movies or Marvel.
Disney Plus.
Because I've already signed up for the Disney Plus. Yeah. Why do I need to do that? So I'm a no on Toy Story 4.
I'm sure we'll rent it here so Lorna can watch it, but I'm a no.
I did see it at the theater. Full disclaimer. So I've already seen it. Crawl. I'm interested to see. I want to see a gator
Is
eat
the Barry
people.
Pepper one?
Yeah, I'm a yes on Crawl.
Okay, and then I'll give it a maybe. I
got to see this gator eat people. Okay, and then Stuber. This is one with Batista and the guy from Silicon Valley. I always forget his name.
Looked funny, yeah.
Yeah, Bert liked it when he saw it.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bert liked it when he saw it, but a lot of critics hated it. I'm a yes. I'm going to watch Stuber.
I don't know if I'd rent it. I'd probably wait for HBO for it after so many people panned it. So I'll be a wait for streaming. So no.
And this other one slipped under the radar. This was the Jesse Eisenberg movie. Yeah. It's like a quirky Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it wants to be a Napoleon one.
The art of the self-defense. I'll see it out of curiosity, so I'm a yes on this.
I actually would check this out. The previews look really funny, too. So, yeah, I'd check it out if I were at the movie or the rental place.
Yeah, so art of self-defense. Now, on streaming this week, a lot of... okay, it's October. Let's throw some...
Yeah, wow. You ain't kidding. Yeah. I mean, one of these are Halloween-based.
Yeah. The first one's a kid's show on Netflix. It's the Spooky Tales of Captain Underpants and his Hackoween. I don't know what a Hackoween is. That sounds like... I'm a no on the Captain Underpants.
Sounds like
Holly's too old.
It's about circumcision?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure Lorna will watch it, but I'm a huge no for Captain Underpants. Is Kevin Hart still do the voice in Captain Underpants?
I don't know. He might be crippled from his car accident.
Yeah.
Next is Haunted. This is based on a bunch of series of real life interviews with people about haunted houses, the haunted stories they've had in their life. It's the second season of this. It's on Netflix. I never watched the first season. I'm a no.
Ghosts are not real. I'm a no.
Yeah, oh man, people can be pissed. Insatiable season 2. This is a teenage drama type. Holly knows the girl. Holly's
CW drama.
Yeah. I'm a big no. It's high school based. I'm out.
I'm sure Heather will watch it, but I'm a no.
Right, and then this one's coming out on Amazon. The historical tales of ghosts and spooky things. This is Lore season 1. It's kind of like a documentary, but it's acted out kind of deal. No.
Ghosts are not real. I'm a no.
So it's that month though, folks. So we're gonna see a lot of haunted and spooky stuff. And I heard a joke on the other day. It made Holly laugh. If you take a dump in October, it's a spooky dookie.
Yeah, checks out. It's pumpkin spice spooky dookie.
Yes. So for games, let's continue on with it. Zombieland Double Tap. The game based on the movie. By the way, I do want to see that movie. I don't want to play this game. I'm a no on Zombieland Double Tap.
The movie sucked. Steve's incorrect. The first one was not that good. It
one.
Was not that good. Woody Harrelson was the only funny parts. I'm a no on this.
And then DayZ. This is another zombie apocalypse game coming out. I think this is a bigger budgeted game. I'm a no. Don't want to play that either.
I'm a no. Yeah.
I played, what was that game from Capcom all those years ago?
Dead Island or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It was in a mall and it had all the.
No, that's
God, that's gonna bug me. Why am I forgetting that? Is it?
Oh, it's gonna bug the shit out of me.
Yeah. Research. Where's Bill?
Yeah.
Now, Plants vs Zombies. I saw this. I got excited.
What
but
is this?
It's not.
Is it a Garden Warfare sequel?
Yeah. It's a
there's
third-person
regular-
shooter. Battle of the Neighborville. So I'm a no. Until they come out with the more traditional Plants vs Zombies, I don't care.
Or fix the second one and just make it a traditional one.
Yeah,
I'm a no on the third-person one.
And then the other one, my niece Tabitha is a huge fan. She's played a lot of these. The Sims 4, Realm of Magic. I imagine you can be a wizard in The Sims. I'm a no. I don't get the attraction in The Sims.
Sims are terrible.
They just sit and talk gibberish all the time. All right, so that's a look at rapid fire. Like I said, we already saw Jexi. So, Charles, what's happening in MMA world?
Yeah, so there was a big UFC fight night again on ESPN Plus this past weekend. Some chicks went toe-to-toe.
What
on
is that
Steve's.
last name?
Joanna Jędrzejczyk from Poland. She's crazy.
How
I
you say
know
that
who
last
she.
name?
It's like Jędrzejczyk or something like
Really?
that.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jesus. It's got every vowel and not
She
consonant.
fought the karate hottie Michelle Watterson. Now, I actually know both these chicks. This was a decent card. I watched this replay this morning and stuff like that. The Joanna chick is really good. She's like a 90-pound chick who has like the attitude of a 300-pound big man. It's really funny to watch. She put it on the karate hottie. I think she also broke her foot because she couldn't walk on her foot at the end because she was kicking the karate hottie so much. So it was entertaining. This was finally a good one. We had a couple weeks where they went a little form. We were in Mexico City and Denmark and all this kind of stuff. This was a more traditional one. They went to Tampa for it. It was a pretty good fight card. So, and then there was a fight of the night that happened before that, the Cub Swanson fight.
Is his real first name Cub?
I don't know. I don't know if this is his real name, but yeah. He fought a Gracie.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Is Bear Grylls' real name Bear? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So, but then next, not this Saturday coming up, but this Friday, there's an ESPN fight on ESPN. I believe it's ESPN2, though. Pretty decent one. The Dominic Reyes guy is pretty good. These are two guys, and he's fighting Jeremy Stevens, two old school guys that have been around for a while, and they got pretty decent records.
He's fighting Chris Weidman.
What's that?
You said Dominic
I'm
Reyes.
sorry, I jumped the line. But yeah, so Chris Weidman is who he's fighting there. Again, these are a handful of good fights on ESPN2. The only one that I put a highlight on is Greg Hardy's fighting again. And you know I'm anti that guy because he brings the name
Dude,
down.
I'm getting a Greg Hardy t-shirt.
He's a dick. So, and then the big thing I want to talk about is we finally got the date nailed down. Bare Knuckle Fighting 8 happens this Saturday.
Not this past Saturday, Charles. That is
Yeah, I was all wrong. So it's this Saturday coming up. Antonio Bigfoot Silva, who's an old UFC heavyweight guy, fights Gabriel Gonzaga this weekend. That'll be one of the fights. And then there's also the Julian Lane guy who you saw before, fights Jim Ehlers, who we saw again already. So, and there's 7 other fights. So check in.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a live stream. We'll do it like we always do. We'll
People
bring
be
DZ
like,
in.
"Where's the feed, bro?"
Yeah.
Everybody be on Facebook yelling at me.
Yeah.
Are you gonna show it?
Yeah, they get pissed because we actually don't stream it. We just
Yeah.
talk over it. We bet
Yeah.
because we're morons. So BKFC, coming to the Fat Guys on a Little podcast stream on Saturday. So look for that.
All right, so you got some news this week. You got a flashback to some old stuff coming back and some new stuff. So, big news this week for all us video game nerds. PS5 release notes came out.
What is that render? Is that render from Sony? The weird V thing? Is that a Sony render?
I don't think so. I think that's
Someone made that shit up, I hope. Because,
yeah.
oh my God, if that's what it looks like, whoa.
Yeah, so the big...
Way too much talk of controller.
Yeah, they're really into controller and
Haptic feedback. and
Yeah,
all this.
which means I can't use my current controllers, which is obnoxious. I can have backwards compatible games, but I can't use the goddamn controller that came with the first PS4. That's annoying, number one. But the big focus, too, for me, I thought was kind of neat, was the loading times and how they're going to eliminate most of that.
Well, it's all going to be SSD driven, correct?
Yeah, well, they're not now, though? I thought they were.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
I know my expandable on the Xbox is an SSD. It still takes forever to load. I don't know.
Maybe they're changing how it streams off.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward. I want to see it in action before I do it. And now, contrary to popular belief, I don't buy a system as soon as it comes out. I usually wait 6-7 months in my mind is usually, well, it's the next shipment. They fix some of the quirks maybe, and usually I can maybe catch a sale. That's what I'm looking for. I don't usually the day of. I try not to. I did that once with the PS2.
Well, the big thing is,
and it was almost impossible to find too.
Back to specs, so they're definitely got an optical drive in it. They're talking about 100 gigabyte Blu-ray, HD, 4K, whatever Blu-rays are going to be in there.
Yeah.
So that's a positive, as we've talked before in the past about how we thought these were going to be only digital-only consoles.
Excuse me.
I don't know.
And Xbox supposed to have a drive too, though.
Is it now? Because for the longest time they were kind of coming out against that. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to do it too.
There's a great Wired article about it, but it was a really weird article. So Sony comes out and says this, but then gives you the weirdest cryptic details.
They spent a majority on the controller. Which,
super weird.
Who really gives a damn, right?
Yeah.
It's something about when you pull the bow back, the trigger gets a little harder to hold. Or whatever.
I don't know.
Sounds like gimmick.
Yeah.
The speaker's a little better. I just want to use my PS4 controllers with the PS5. Great. I'm glad I spent all that money on controllers. But anyway, so there you go. It's all over the internet. You can catch it, what little bit is known. But 2020, holiday season next year, you can get your PS5. Of course, no prices. If I had to guess, $500 for a basic, $600 for a more complex version.
Thereabouts. Yeah.
That would be my guess. Now, A Blast from the Past came back recently, and I went to the website and checked it out. It's a crap website. I mean, it looks just like it. ToysRUs.com is back for all you folks out there. It's not nearly as complex as it was back in the day. Like, one thing I know, just for the limited time I was on there, there's no video games or video game stuff on there. So it's all just toys. I don't think there's any baby clothes or anything on there either. I didn't look too much into it. Now, the funny thing is when you click on the stuff and you go to buy it, it switches you over to Target. So Target is powering the ToysRUs.com website. So they're kind of...
I know this much. I know that when Toys R Us folded, Target made a big push into the toy section. All the articles I read was Toys R Us is going to see this void and fill it. And that's where...
Target's going to see that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Target's going to see that void and fill it. And that's why I also put they're partnering with Disney stores now too, which is weird. So like Target's doing this whole front end, and it's smart to do because trust me, my daughter, when you give her allowance, she always wants to go to Target. Always Target. I don't understand. Is the name worth it to them? I don't understand. What's the point?
ToysRUs.com. Maybe. I mean, that's extra sales you weren't getting.
I guess, man.
Maybe people are thinking, hey, I'll pull it over. But it's a limited website. It's not like the old ToysRUs.com was all that robust to begin with. But it's even less limited than the old ToysRUs.com. So did you go to the site and look around a little bit?
No.
Because the first thing I looked for was video games. That wasn't even a category. I was like, where the hell? But it also had places where you can go see free live demos and stuff. So they're trying some different stuff there. And I think Target must have just paid out the money outright for the ToysRUs.com name.
Well, they're also doing the infrastructure stuff for Target's doing a big push to attack Amazon. And the Target's got some weird identity crisis thing happening right now. It's interesting, I guess. I don't know.
So Target making moves before the holiday season, trying to get your money for your toys. Now, I don't know if you've seen this.
I watched this after. So I read the show notes, and I was like, well, what is Steve talking about? Because I didn't even know about this.
On ABC, they're having a live-action musical, Little Mermaid. It looks like a hot train wreck.
So... I watched this trailer and it just looks so cheesy.
It looks terrible.
So Disney owns ABC and Disney's putting it on there. Now, the one thing that Heather told me that much like the Fat Todd situation, they're up in arms because I guess the Ariel's a black girl and people are freaking out about it because this is a Disney princess that you just can't change the race.
Well, they've already changed her from the movie coming out.
I don't know.
They're making a live action movie.
Oh, they are,
and she's black too.
Oh, okay.
So I guess
people are really defensive of Ariel. I don't give a shit about Ariel.
I'm kind of with them a little bit, but I really don't give a shit about them.
I mean,
if it's this character that's this, let's leave it that and make a new character. If it's not that,
so you're saying you want to see a white girl's Mulan? Is that what you're saying? If you want to,
no, I mean Mulan should be Chinese. She's Chinese. She should be Chinese. That's what, I'm just saying. If that's how the character is made, that's what it should be.
So why did they change Ariel if they didn't change Mulan?
Yeah, I mean, just leave it all the same. I don't know. I mean, Aladdin was Arabic. Jasmine was Arabic.
At some point, How many of these remakes are we going to do? I just don't.
Well,
get
that
it.
too. And I just want to know who in the black community is going, God, I hope they have a black hair. I mean, does anyone really care?
With the bright red hair.
Yeah, it's so
I
weird.
don't know. But yeah, Heather said it was a Fat Todd situation. I don't know.
People online have nothing better than that.
Yeah,
Sure.
very.
But John Stamos plays like this weird
What is the
guy.
chef? I don't even know.
It looks
And then
so-
Shaggy is Sebastian.
Yeah, and it's just him in a leather coat.
Yeah,
I
it was
was like,
super
what?
creepy.
I gotta watch now just because I'm so intrigued of what a train
So
wreck
Steve
this
will be
is gonna
live streaming the new Ariel.
Oh, it's gonna be so terrible. Ever since they hit a home run with that Once Upon a Time, right? At least the first 2 seasons, it was very big for them. ABC was, and it was just their old stuff reimagined. They've been trying to capture that again since that shows went off, and I guess these musicals are trying to do it. And when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, "My God, this looks like the worst thing I've ever seen." All right, so that's a little look at that. Now the other one that's getting butchered online, and I haven't played it. I have bought a copy of it. I had a $10 coupon. I got it for $42. I bought Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but I haven't played it yet.
Just came out, right?
Yeah, I haven't played it because I'm still going through.
Yeah.
I was like,
got
well, I'll play
60
this
hours of
after
Assassin's
Assassin's
Creed.
Creed. I had no idea I was going to be 60 hours into Assassin's Creed.
Odyssey of Assassin's
Yeah, so
Creed.
when I play Ghost Recon in December, once I finish Odyssey, I'll tell you how it is. I like. Did you play the last one, Wetlands?
No.
I do like the old Ghost Recon we played.
You
Remember?
talked about it. Yeah.
I was always a big fan of them. I liked them better than Call of Duty. One, there was third person. You could see the character. I always felt they were a little more tactical than Call of Duty. Just run around, blast people is what it felt like. Even though I do like the Call of Duty campaigns. I'm talking about the multiplayer. They call it GRAW, but Ghost Recon was always more tactical. We had more gadgets. You had different things, and it didn't do the exoskeleton or that bullshit. And we played it a lot on 360
Yeah, it
with
was fun.
Brandon and everybody,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed them. This generation, they went more open world, and it is nice because you have 4 squad mates.
They
and
got
you-
like what Jay Bernthal or whatever his name is all throughout it.
and in the wetlands, you got 3 squad mates, and it could be 3 people online or just the AI guys.
They can jump in, jump
Yeah,
out.
so I like the wetlands. I played through it. I enjoyed it. It's about 30 hours. It was a long game, and I guess this game's just like it. But from what I understand, there's a lot of microtransactions. There's a lot of
death by 1,000 cuts.
yeah. So and then people are really hating on it. It's not getting good
It's
reviews.
getting
at
terrible
all.
reviews. I think the best review I found for it was a 6.
Yeah, so I'm gonna crack through it here in a couple weeks, and I'll let you know. But I'm not looking. I don't have high hopes at this
Yeah,
point.
wow.
So and I'm like, I already bought the damn thing. And I've always liked Ghost Recon. I've liked it better than Rainbow Six. I like it better than if I had a military shooter to pick. I'm picking Ghost Recon overall. Which one are you picking? Did you like the best?
If you really want to get old school, the original PC Rainbow Sixes are awesome because you actually had a TAC map and you had to plan your route of how you'd go and get you felt like a member of a SWAT team. It was insane. So like you could literally like have waypoints and all this kind of stuff and implementation points and super cool, super tactical. You actually controlled the mission, but you had, like I said, like initially like had to do like a loadout and stuff like that. Super cool. I love the original.
So
Rainbow
your
Six.
your old G.
Yeah.
'Cause they changed it up a lot after.
Oh,
that. It turned it
completely.
it's almost like an action movie.
Yeah,
at
it's
this point.
totally different.
Yeah.
But like the OG PC Rainbow Sixes are awesome.
Now, one of the best old school ones is SOCOM. Remember that
Yeah,
for PS2? That was
yeah.
one of the first ones. I really enjoyed that.
The
one.
network adapter on your PS2.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. Now, a couple things I saw this week, and I just wanted to share with everybody. We live in Dearborn Heights / Taylor area of Michigan, Dearborn, southeast of Detroit. We don't see Teslas a lot, right?
I see them constantly.
You do.
Because
I never see them.
I have an e-vehicle, so I'm always at charging stations and all this kind of stuff. One thing I saw that's at like the recent one right over here in Dearborn, because I saw your kind of note, and I'm like, it's just different because, like I said, I'm into that whole thing now where I'm always at charging stations and all. I saw this crazy super car that's $100,000 BMW like super e-vehicle that they make
Wow, I didn't know
that was charging at the parking structure right over here by the house.
Did you want to run your key down the
Dude,
side?
me, Lauren, and Heather were like, "What is that?" When we saw it, we're like, "Dude, it looked like some kind of like Formula One car."
Oh, wow.
Crazy, but yeah, there's a couple
That really
Teslas.
ruins my sighting.
Well, there's a couple of Teslas always at work and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a handful of them.
Well, this is the first one I've seen out in the wild. I was at La Fitness at about 6 in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
and there was an S model. It's the one that looks like a SUV.
Yep. That's an X.
Yeah, it was silver.
Yeah.
It was big. It's a nice looking car.
It's got the gull wings in the back.
Yeah, I was quite
crazy.
because I looked at it and I was like, what is that? And I got closer. It was the S model Tesla.
Let me tell you one thing I hate.
I imagine in California they see these every day. Just for us here in Michigan.
You were like,
they're
oh, check it out.
Yeah. So.
One of the things I hate is like I told you about when I was talking about the Bolt. These goddamn Volt owners, man. These things, every time I go to try to charge my goddamn car, there's a Chevy Volt sitting there all the time. It's like, God. Hate those cars.
Like, damn you.
GM must have sold a ton of them. I mean, I don't know. Like, those things outnumber any other e-vehicle I see like 8-1. It's that crazy. Followed by the Fusion Energy ones, the Fusions that you can plug in. Those are the two cars I see all the time.
Wow. I don't see much of any electric cars. Every once in a while I see what you drive, and like I said, I saw this Tesla. First Tesla I've seen in a while.
One thing I don't see a lot of
I randomly see a Prius here and there.
I don't see the Leafs. I don't see a lot of those Nissan ones.
I don't either.
Yeah.
No. So now a couple weeks ago on the show, we talked about I wanted to rent the Ghostbusters game. Well, here's some weird things we didn't know about. The Activision re-released Ghostbusters. It came out in 2009 originally. This is 10 years later. So I went out that Friday, the day it's supposed to come out.
Did they redo anything to it?
They basically just enhanced the graphics and the sound. They didn't really add any new features. So I go to the family video, like, you have the Ghostbusters. No, we don't have that. I was like, oh, that's a brand new release. Ghostbusters.
What am I missing? Yeah.
Check it out online. Apparently, you can get it on digital for $30, or you could buy the physical copy only at GameStop. It's a GameStop exclusive.
Wow.
Here's a company that's closing 200 stores,
Yeah.
but still had to pull enough to get an exclusive on
That's
a video
pretty
game.
crazy.
So I just thought that was funny. I'm going to wait for Black Friday and see if they drop the digital price down.
I wonder if you can get a used copy of it online, too.
You could probably get an Xbox 360 copy, too.
Oh,
It's
okay.
backwards compatible, too.
Oh,
And you won't have the enhanced graphics, but I just want to play through the game because I said that's the one game that slipped through the cracks
It's
for me.
supposed to be, like a continuation of the actual movie.
A lot of people say that's the third one, official third
Yeah.
one more than the others. So eventually I will play it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to pay $30 for a 10-year-old
You didn't realize
game.
all the hoops you jumped through.
Yeah, I was like, I went to 2 different family videos, couldn't find it. So
Like you said, it's weird to see that kind of deal brokered in 2019 with a GameStop.
yeah, and come to find out, the physical disc from GameStop is glitchy. I guess they say the digital version runs better than the physical version. Like it glitches. a lot
Doesn't
of times.
stream off there, right? Or
Yeah,
something?
they think people aren't loading it fully before they start playing, so it's showing a lot of glitches. So.
Wow.
There you go, a little look at some exclusives to GameStop that's going out of business. So, anything else you want to cover there, Charles?
Nothing. Just tune in on Saturday we're going to talk over the bare knuckle fighting. That's the only thing that's going on.
Oh yeah, the sweet science of bare knuckle.
Yeah, dude, watch
Two
it.
drunken idiots
This
punching the
one's
hell out of each other.
in the Florida State Fairgrounds.
It's at a state fair.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's high end
I
stuff.
love it.
So, all right. So, of course, you can catch us on Apple iTunes or Google Play, and then you can catch us on fatguyslittlepodcast.com. You can also catch us on Facebook and Instagram and all that other good stuff out there. And until next week, we'll try to get Bert Nolan, our horror movie expert here before the end of the month. I haven't heard from him this week. He might be on a vacation somewhere. He has a habit of doing that.
Anyone know of any cheap flights to Florida?
Yeah, he's already been to what do they call those things in Cedar Point? The Hollow Weekends.
Oh.
He's already been down there for that, so he still won't give it up. As bad as me playing Madden, just won't give it up. Like, why are you watching Raw, Steve? Because Bert does Hollow Weekends.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so there you go. So until next week, this is Steve.
Charles.
Catch you next time.